I texted Randy earlier. I was like, "Hey man, sorry, I didn't realize that I didn't send
You're live.
the thing saying that who this."
Yeah. What new phone? Who this?
Yeah, I think something of that
Uh,
nature. I was like, "Hey, new phone, who this?"
I thought it was you, but then I had like 5 people texting me, and he texted me, and I don't know.
I was just messing around with him. I figured he'd see it because I always see that meme. Hey man, you owe me $50.
New
New
phone. Who
phone, who
this?
this? It's
He
not
spends so
showing.
much damn time working. I don't think he's kind of read into all the pop culture memes.
I know it because my wife says it all the time. I'll hunt. She's like, "Yeah, new phone, who this?"
Let
It's not popping up at all.
me see.
I keep hitting refresh. It's got Brandon
Oh,
as
let's go to visit site. No, that's the wrong one. Let's do that. Okay, let's go to the page, actual page. It says we're live now. So episodes, yep, we're live. So we're gonna go share. Copy. Now go to the Fort Bragg Hunt Club page.
just hit it in that share link.
Yeah, just go in like to Fort Bragg Hunt Club page and
Write
just
something.
just push down on it and paste. Yeah, write something. Now you should just be able to hold that, paste, boom, and then do that at everyone in front of it. We are definitely live. Soldier Boy, thank you. Out of all the guests that I have on here, Jonathan is the most technological, illiterate one. You'll be like, "Hey, can you go on there and respond to that email? I can't figure out how."
Just is what it is. All right, I think it went on there.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. So it is. We're 5 minutes early, so that's cool. All right, everybody, welcome back to another week, another episode. Guest Jonathan Holloway. Thank you for finally coming on.
Yeah. I would ask you what you've been up to, but I know.
For those of you that don't know, me and Jonathan are also business partners in Latitude Roofing, so we pretty much are connected at the hip or phone 24/7. And oddly enough, I'm not tired of him yet. I don't hate his guts.
No, I'm just tired.
Tired all the time. It is a lot of work. And I will say, I said it in the last podcast. Of course, he can't be bothered to do anything except work. You don't even watch the podcast. This is the most hard workingest motherfucker I've ever met. Ever. That's all he does is work. I call him at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's turning the damn lawnmower off, getting ready to go to work. So, all right. Before we get started, let me just recap the last week.
Make some notes.
I got notes, baby.
Man,
I'm getting all professional and shit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, you're getting old and you forget.
Handwritten, yeah. So if you were not at the deconflict, you weren't there.
Nope.
Didn't get a permission slip that weekend.
Nah, we got a weekend away with the kids and a 7 and a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
away from them or with them.
Away from them.
Oh shit!
Yeah. We went to the beach and acted like we were 21 again.
Yeah.
And hung out. Matter of fact, it was Chris's, my brother. It was his wife's
Chris
birthday.
Holloway. Yeah.
It was his wife's birthday weekend, and my buddy Jason, his wife, came down.
Thanks for the invite.
I was the invited.
Thanks for the invite, Chris.
He ain't watching.
I wouldn't have went anyway.
He just called me earlier asking someone how to track a dog because he shot a doe and couldn't find it. I wanted to talk a lot of junk to him, but he was like, I just can't see the blood up close. I was like, that's a damn optometrist's problem, not me.
You shot a doe. It ain't Sunday. With a gun?
Yeah.
You shot a doe with a gun.
You know where he was.
Oh, in his driveway. Drinking a beer.
Yeah, more than likely. So.
All right, so deconflict. I just want to, again, I know I put out posts. Thank you for everybody that showed up. Thank you for all the support. I tell you, when we set that thing up, we kind of talked about it before. I was like, man, I'll be surprised if even 10 people show up.
I was figuring 15 to 20.
There was like 50
got a good turnout
or more people out there, and it was good. It was good to meet people that we talk to them all the time, like Madonna and Sam Bone. He was out there.
Oh, he showed up.
Oh, big teddy bear.
Yeah,
he's such a nice guy in person, but he's the guy that I told everybody after about an hour I wanted him to kind of circulate and talk to people. And I was like, by the way, Sam Bone, the guy, when you write this post and whatever is going on in your life, it's real important to you. And he goes on there and says, Gee, thanks for telling us, sir. Gee, I'm glad
Yeah.
that's him.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? That guy's so nice.
Thanks for the update.
Thanks for the update, guy. We can all sleep now.
Yeah.
He got a good looking dog, man. I want his dog to jump on mine. So yeah, if you were out there or if you weren't, sorry you couldn't make it. We're gonna do it again. Obviously, we have 12 months now to plan for the next one and make it cooler. Now that we know people are gonna show up, we're definitely gonna do something in January whenever we measure the BBC, which I know you're excited about. Anytime someone says BBC, you get excited. The big buck contest.
I didn't know what that was. I'd ask my wife. Well, you said it one day, and I just
She knows what that is.
I
You might want to rethink that one. Be like, well, how do you know what that is?
I was like, because I watched a reel one day, and it was like it was this dude. He's sitting there, and he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I just want everybody to know this is my BBC," and he's pointing to this dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh
My
no,
best
no, you
black
can't say my best black companion."
companion. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh man, you can't say that." He's like, "Why not?" But
What, I can't say black? My best.
I didn't know exactly what it was, so I had to get an update.
Yeah.
I work a lot.
So while we were out there, we had donated items from Done Outdoors, which I haven't been to that store, but I really need to go, and y'all need to support.
Man, that's a killer store.
You've been up there?
Yeah, multiple times. Back, when I went to school at Campbell, they even had it going on there.
Law school at
But
Campbell.
nah, my buddy Jesse Wise, he's a professional fisherman, fishes MPFL and all that
Mhm.
stuff. He's actually sponsored by him, and he does a lot with them and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a killer store. Y'all
Yeah,
need to
they
check
sent
it
out a buttload of stuff, and we basically put it on a table. And we sold raffle tickets and took donations. And if your number got called, you come up to the table and you got to pick whatever you wanted. There's some dope stuff up there. SNS Processing offered a free processed deer. That's $140 value right there. That's
Who are they? Who's SNS?
SNS Processes is Steve Fox and dude, I forgot your other name.
Stephen Stan?
Yeah,
Right there by my house?
Yeah, Stephen
Oh,
Stan.
yeah, dude, they're God,
Yeah,
they're
Stephen Stan.
man, I've been like, to me, Rick and Ellerby wildlife processors,
Yeah.
their summer salters and snack sticks, they're killer. We used to go to a place, Stancil's, before the Stancils, had their accident, they passed away and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, some local people and stuff. Steve and Stan by far have the best deer burger I've ever had.
Really?
It's just like it's so above
He ain't had
everybody
mine
else's.
yet. He ain't had mine yet.
It
That's
ain't that
why.
good.
But I process all of my ground with bacon though.
I
all
don't
of
know what
it.
they do. They do it
Yeah.
with a touch of love because
Yeah.
it's
Well,
really
Stephen
good.
Stan's jerky I know is good, and they got a flavor this year I don't think they had last year. It's like chili lime.
They had that.
Did they?
Yeah, the
I
chili
didn't
lime,
have it.
they had it.
Yeah.
I didn't. The last deer I killed, I just made it all in burger to get us
Yeah.
through the years. I didn't.
Your jerky, I think, the one stuff you made this past 2 months ago, you made that
Yeah,
jerky.
the
That was
office.
like the best I've ever had. But that was all backstrap though,
It
right?
was all it was.
The flavoring was good. I hate when people do jerky and they think that dumping a whole bottle of Dale's and letting it sit there for 3 days
Too
and
salty.
it's like chewing on a rubber piece of Dale's seasoning. I
Yeah,
don't like
no,
it.
I'm not either. I like the backstrap. You can cut it yourself because I like jerky that it's a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
You get to chew on a little bit, but it's not too tough.
Yeah. Me too. So with the money that we raised from the proceeds, we got donations. I think I was able to raise with a $250 donation from an anonymous. And anytime you're ready to be announced, I'll gladly, tell everybody, but he didn't want to be announced. Plus t-shirt sales. I bought a bunch of donuts, which oddly enough didn't get 8. Our people are getting healthy these days. I had 9 dozen of donuts. I thought they would be gone.
That's because Duck ain't all that good.
Duck's I mean, it's better than Dunkin'.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as Krispy Kreme, but they had more variety. Krispy Kreme is only good on the glazed donut, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I bought coffees. We had that. Some guys actually brought their grill and hamburgers and hot dogs, and it was pretty dope. So with the money we were able to raise total from Deconflict until last night was, and I miscounted. I didn't miscount. I put out that we raised 1,058 because it was busy, and Dave said here the bucket there's X amount of dollars, and then there's X amount of dollars in Cash App because we were taking donations from Cash App and because a lot of people don't have cash nowadays, understandable. And I just miscalculated it, and I said, okay, we're at this point. Let's get it up to 1,000, and they jumped it up. A couple guys came in at the last minute, $75, $50, but total we were able to raise was $929. That's impressive.
That is.
Even the guys I think we said like 640 was the initial. The 2 guys from the BHA were like, that's damn good.
Yeah.
So And the idea was we were going to plus up the skin shed. And so I initially we just said, things like the gut buckets and this and that and the saws and the loppers. Because last year I remember only like one saw and it was dull, and then there was only like two pairs of loppers. So I did a walkthrough yesterday, and there's like 6 or 7 buckets in there that are in great shape.
Hmm.
There was probably four minimum pairs of loppers,
Yeah.
and there were two saws or
Hmm.
three saws. All that stuff was there. So it's like, shit, what do I do with this money? So what I did today was I went and bought stuff like this. This is some of the stuff. So somebody requested a knife sharpener. I got one for the table. It's got the three sides on it. And then I'm gonna have to drill a hole in here and kind of hang it from a
Hang
hook.
it. Yeah.
This is one of those hand ones, sharpen your knife. Pretty cool. I'm taking those steels back, the ceramic
Man, I
steels.
only know how to use them.
Yeah,
So.
a lot of people don't. I got two of these. I'm gonna drill holes through them and hang them. That's a butt plug,
All the new guys.
not the kind that your old lady has in the closet. Although that would be kind of
It's
kinky.
pretty crude.
Oh,
Yeah,
it only goes in one way.
Oof.
But these are cool. I know a lot of guys, if you learn the old way, well, the reason why they did it the old way is because they didn't have these. Now we have these. This is one and done. You stick it in his ass, turn it, pull it, and you ain't fucking with nothing. So we're gonna hang those in there. And then I got 8 knives total, and these are what I got for y'all. So these are the Wild Edge outdoors. So you've got a deboning knife, and you've got a skinning knife with a gut hook. And then you got the same thing over here, except one's not a debone knife. Debone knife is really when you want to like take the meat off the bone.
Yeah.
So pretty much, if you're a guy and you kill a deer and you go to the skin shed and you don't have, I've seen guys up there with dull pocket knives,
Or
'cause
they
don't,
forget. Yeah.
or they
Yeah.
forget. These will be magnetically attached to the wall on a magnetic strip. Just we're gonna have to police ourselves. I know I was gonna go and bougie and get Bubba,
Yeah. I told you
and
not
you
to
were
do
like,
that.
"Nah, don't do that. Those will come up missing." I mean, these are not cheap, but they're not the most expensive.
They'll hold an edge. You just need to touch them up every now and again.
Yeah,
Plus, they got a sharpener with
yeah.
them.
There's sharpeners in
And then
there.
also did the garden hose with the splitter. So there'll be two
Yeah,
hoses
yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah. That's it. I didn't bring that in because that's big. So I bought a splitter. I bought 100-foot heavy duty hose, but then I realized that's too long. So I'm gonna take it back tomorrow and get two 50-foot hoses.
Yeah.
So we'll have two hoses,
That'll be nozzles. Two nozzles.
two nozzles.
The splitter, and
Yeah.
then we also, well, not we, y'all actually, and then Buddy purchased it, bought some stuff for the biologists themselves,
Yeah.
which are like the little Exacto knife blades for.
Cameras over there if you're
But
trying
yeah,
to.
I
Yeah,
was
you're looking at it.
I was looking
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah,
It's the
I do it
Exacto
too.
knife blades. Basically, when you kill a deer that you want to mount, you always see them. They'll cut down in the bottom jaw, and then they'll extract it so it doesn't mess anything up. Well, those blades are what they use, and it was always hard for those guys to explain to government purchasing exactly what they were. So we bought them, what was it, 100 pack, and then
Yeah.
everything's left over is going to be what, trash bags, paper towels.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm gonna return the boning saws. I don't think we need. I think I'm gonna
no,
return. I'm gonna get the blades.
yeah, yeah. He texted me back and said 14 and a half, which I sent that to you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
just, I mean, heck, if we get like a 20 pack, that'll last a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, because I got two that were like $47 a piece, so that'll free up about $90.
Yeah.
Dre donated a cart that I'm gonna pick up tomorrow, and then I'm gonna get one of those Rubbermaid heavy duty trash cans. And the thing about the trash can is they used to have a trash can in there, but guys end up throwing deer parts in there, or they see it's full
And don't take
and
it
they
out.
don't take it to the dumpster, which right across the thing, and then it gets overflowed. And then guess who the next guy is? It's a biologist, and he's like, "Fuck this! I'm not doing
Yeah,
this.
it's not their
It's
responsibility
not their
to clean up
responsibility."
after us.
Yeah.
They
So
they get paid to let us hunt and to check our deer in,
yeah,
not clean up after a bunch of grown men. So
yeah. So now that this stuff essentially is going to belong to
everybody.
us,
Yeah.
so you need to maybe police up. Make sure you clean it. I'm going to buy a bunch of soap, um, paper towels,
Mhm.
trash bags. Maybe a box of rubber gloves, a couple of boxes of rubber gloves for guys that don't want the piece sitting down, don't want to get guts in their fingernails and stuff. I see guys up there with rubber gloves all the time. Yeah, and just police ourselves. And man, I hope it works out,
Me
man. I'm
too,
pretty
man.
excited
It'd be
about it.
pretty cool. It's start giving back a little bit.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And you know, we'll see how it goes. That's all we can do.
Hopefully, good.
Yeah, I think it will. I think once now that we got now that we're getting more of a participation. The one thing I don't want to turn this into, I think, and I want to say this publicly, now that we can actually raise a decent amount of money and we can get things done. The next project I'm going to get together with the BHA and MWR is that archery range.
Mhm.
Okay, we may have to step up and raise some funds, donate time to weed eat, cut it, get the path, because I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah.
10 years hunting. I knew we had one, but I thought it was back over by because I'd never seen it. It's literally right where we were at, behind all those weeds. There's a
Yeah.
wooden fence,
Yeah.
and that's a damn nice range. It
Yeah,
can
you
be,
just go right there to where you shoot your guns and pay, and then you
yeah,
go over there to do it. So yeah, it'd be cool to have it because, like we were talking, we both live in neighborhoods, unfortunately.
yeah. I
But
don't have a fucking
yeah,
tree in my
and
yard.
I just bought 10 acres that don't have a tree on it,
Yeah.
so I'm still gonna be in the same
What
place.
were you thinking? No trees on 10 acres?
Well, I wanted a pond,
Yeah.
so
But yeah, so I would like to be able to, have a tree or even if we had to put a telephone pole in to stick, to stick climb or one stick climb and shoot out of a saddle
yeah. I
for
mean, if they'd
practice.
allow us, I'll take my track loader over there with my. I've got a auger system on it. We can auger in and dump a bunch of.
Hunter, if you're listening, he's got a track loader. He's a landscape contractor, so we were
What's
talking about that.
what's Hunter need a track loader
Hunter
for?
Owen. I'm just saying we were talking about who has what. This
Oh
may
yeah,
have to be a lot of
we can come up with
if we can't raise enough money, maybe we can just get people to donate time.
that. Yeah.
Like, build a platform. Some of those benches and stuff are starting to rot. They need to be replaced. Donate some wood.
Yeah.
That's our next project. But what I don't want this to, what happens is you guys, we were all together raise $1,000. Now it's in my pocket. I want that out of my pocket as fast as possible. And I want to buy the stuff. That's why I went and just was like, well, buy this and that. Because what'll happen is if this Fort Bragg Hunt Club becomes an actual organization, now we have board members, we got a treasurer, we've got a
Yeah.
president. And then when you get more than 10 men in a room, they're going to split off into factions. And one group's going to say, you know what, some of that money we raised needs to go to the retarded monkeys you know what I'm saying? And the other guy's going to be like, no, we need to give it to. And now you have infighting, and then you have elections, and then you have people questioning what you did with money. And that becomes an organization I don't want to be a part of.
Nah,
Then you
no.
got rules, and then you got like
We
dues.
just run it as a dual dictatorship.
This is it's still we got to keep the original flavor. This is a place where you can come, say what you want, talk shit, whatever, freedom of speech. We don't have any code of conduct. We're not here to tell you what hunting's all about.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of, oh, we don't hunt for this or that, we hunt for that. No, this is everything.
Each individual gets to hunt for what they want.
Let's
feel
just
like they're
raise
hunting
money
for.
for the things that we want to do. And if BHA wants us to help, we'll do that. But I definitely don't.
Hunter's good from he's good with that stuff. I think I've met him once, but I can't really remember. He helps Doug Phillips, which owns FLR Outdoors. He does a fishing tournament trail throughout North Carolina.
Yeah.
And then they do Dre McDonald fishes with me every year. They do basically it's a tournament for veterans. You donate your time as a boater, and they'll either assign you, active duty, military, whatever it may be, or if you know someone that's prior or enlisted,
Yeah.
you can take them fishing, and they donate a whole bunch of stuff. It's kind of just bragging rights, talking junk.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what it's all
So,
about, in my opinion.
Dre gives me a hard time. The first year we fished it, we should have won, but there was just a little bit of a confusion there on something. It was just
Yeah.
it was a mess up, but
Bragging rights are what it's all about. That's what we were talking about before the podcast with we got the big buck contest and Maverick's got what would that come out at 170 something, 176?
I don't remember.
Big.
Yeah, big.
Gonna be hard to beat,
Hard to
but
beat,
if
yeah.
I could like sign up to kill a deer, it would be a certain deer that's probably smaller, probably a lot smaller than that one. But because so many like well-seasoned hunters are hunting this deer, I would rather kill that one for the bragging rights than to actually win the big buck contest. Make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I'm like that too, man.
yeah.
My fishing partner, we fish with all the time. I'm like, dude, I don't care about the pay. I want the trophy.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
want the
I don't
trophy.
like. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that to us.
The money's good. It
If we
helps.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it helps to go to the next one. And a lot of times, first of the year, we'll buckle down. We'll win one, and then we fish free the rest of the year.
Yeah.
What'd you do? Lose your temper?
No, the chair got
Yeah.
off the little plastic piece and I couldn't roll it forward. There
I
we
just
go.
like trophies. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, trophies. That's what it's all about. So anyway, all the announcements are out the way again. We won't.
Because he said they were all crooked.
Well, look. So let me just give you a little
Jason,
bit.
I'm trying, bud.
Let me
I'm
just
trying.
give you a little bit of a rundown on my house here, right? I'm going to be here for 2 years. All right. I have a whole plan. This is just like I'm parked here for now. And I don't, and me and my girlfriend we don't get into it, but I'm always like, she's trying to move into this place. So everything you see on the walls and everything and the
Yeah,
furniture is stuff I already had.
just be minimal.
I'm not buying anything. If you open up, everybody's got that closet in their house. You open it, stuff full of shit. And then
Mhm.
you move out and there's like dust and all that. There's nothing in there except coats and
Yeah.
shoes that I wear. You know what I'm saying? So this is all stuff I had, but yeah, I'm not really in the reason why they're like that is there's only like one nail in them.
Oh, you're good. I didn't pay
Yeah.
it. I never paid it no attention.
Yeah. I see it sometimes, but
It'd
and
be
of course
odd.
the frames don't match, but isn't that kind of cool? Kind of manly not to have matching frames. Because if it all matched, then I would look gay.
Well, you know how peculiar I am, so
Yeah, you would be in here with a
I
laser.
would. I would. I'm like, no, you got to fix this crap.
Dude, I hung all that stuff up in probably 5 minutes, like boom. Matter of fact, if you take down that American flag, there's probably 8 holes
To get it to where
to
just
where
roundabout.
to where it would be right. Like, let me just try one. Forget damn the magnet or the stud finder. I
Mhm.
just go, not nope, missed it. Nope, not look up when you go in there, look above that deer mount that's in there. You're gonna see like 6 holes going across. I literally hit every space between the studs before I found the
Why
stud.
don't you get a gorilla hanger? You ever seen those?
Yeah.
It just goes and loops
Yeah,
back through.
I think I did use one of those for something in here,
They
but
work pretty good.
yeah. But
Anyhow, we'll go back to
anyway, so
tangents.
it's deer hunting season, and you're a deer hunter, so you say. But how many times have you actually been out in the woods hunting? Twice.
Twice.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's get into why. Because you've been right every time. I've been every day, and some
Yeah.
of us out there are going every day. Um, let's talk about the season that we're in now. I don't need to talk about the last 8 weeks, but
No, I mean, I
what
don't
do
go. I've mentioned it a few. I've mentioned it a lot, man. I don't hunt early season because I suck at it. I really do. I just not a good. It's hot too.
yeah.
I'm in the crap all day. Saturday, I'm just like, I'll go get on the boat, but I don't want to go walk through. I hate chiggers too, and
No,
they
okay.
love me. So
I haven't been
yeah,
bothered by them once this
man,
year.
I can get within 100 yards of a pack of
But
them.
early season in itself is just a tough time. I know a lot of guys we get excited and 9 months we're waiting, and finally it kicks off, and then it's like you get out there and you just there's some guys that haven't seen a deer at all.
Yeah,
But like early season hunting is difficult because it is hot.
it is tough, but it's also easy. If you get a
Explain
deer,
why it's
if you
easy.
get a deer doing something at that time of year, you haven't had any pressure. The people aren't all over him. People aren't swinging out of trees trying to shoot at him.
Yeah.
So he's liable to continue the same process every day until
But when's he moving? Because I have a kind
well
of a theory on
that's kind
this.
of on his terms. It just that time of year. I don't think they're moving really long distances, but I've been proved wrong on that as well.
Yeah.
I think you need to be a little bit closer to where he wants to be. You'll see guys, they'll get pictures of deer, at midnight and they'll go sit in that spot. Man, that,
Yeah.
that deer is not there when he's killable. That's just a destination for him
Yeah.
to be
Destination. Right.
at that point in time.
So if you're lucky enough to find a buck in the early season where he's coming out of like a thick area, a bedding area, or a draw.
If you get a daylight picture of them the weekdays leading to opening day, you can normally kill them within them first 2 days,
Okay.
as long as you have enough sense about you to say, okay, well, I think he's right here, and you don't go over there and booger it up, walk it to
Right.
death.
And what about the wind though? Like, so if you're looking, if you got the west, let's say you're looking straight north, you got the south to your back, obviously, and the draw he's coming out of is on that south
Well,
side of the draw.
if the wind's hitting at your back, of course he's going to move
So he's
downwind.
going to
Yeah.
come up with the
So
wind. Yeah.
I mean, it's you got to know enough to at least figure out that you can set off to the side of the wind. I
What
know
you
that's
call
weird.
cheating the
Yeah,
wind.
cheat. That's what I call
Yeah.
cheating the wind. I mean,
Yeah.
if you know this is where he wants to use, but you got to have this wind to hunt it, then you're never going to kill. Okay, if he moves on a northeast wind and you hunt him every time on a southwest wind because that's the wind you need, not and then you don't see him. It's literally that wind's dictating which way he's going to move.
Right.
Um, I've I've seen deer move with the wind, against the wind, across their nose. So I don't really think.
I have a theory on that is I have seen them move in a diagonal pattern as long as the wind is kind of hitting their nose, and I have
Yeah,
seen them move with the wind at their back, but only after they've kind of gotten comfortable.
Yeah.
Like every time I've seen one come out of a draw, the wind's always on their face.
Mhm.
Now they may walk up and they may start sniffing the ground and they may end up doing a little turn and all that, and they may walk, but I still think that their direction in their mind of where they're going is with the wind, whether they take a detour or not.
Always, always.
Pre-rut though, because does any of this apply during the rut?
Yeah, it still does
Okay.
because I mean, pre-rut, they're starting their own little tactics. The bucks as soon as they're hard horn, they're ready to rut. The
Yeah.
doe dictates
The
that,
doe dictate when they
and
estrus. Yeah,
and
right.
that's basically that's photoperiodism, which is just basically as the days get shorter, the nights get longer, that starts kicking
I
everything
have
in.
that written down.
Yeah,
Photo period. Yeah. So say that
yeah.
again. The days get shorter, the nights get longer, and that will cause
Something in their eye.
their eyeball
I don't know
gland.
what the
Yeah.
technical term is for that, but that basically in a doe dictates when and some people even say the peak rut is the same time every year within a few days span, no matter the weather. The weather has
The
nothing to
weather,
do
I
with
don't
it.
believe has
I
anything
don't
to do
either.
with it.
They're gonna rut. They just
Anytime people say, "Oh my God, it's cold this morning," they're going to be moving. Well, did you see the moon last night? The moon was full,
yeah.
so they were probably moving at night. They're probably going to be bedding down about 7 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
So unless you get out there, like, oh buddy, this one guy got stuck on opening rifle day. Did you see that on the page?
No.
He's like, God damn it, it would be the opening day of rifle, and I got stuck. It was like 4 in the morning.
Oh
Like
wow.
it was like 5 in the morning. It wasn't
Yeah.
time to be in the woods yet. It wasn't 90 minutes prior. That was funny, but so yeah, it's not just because it's cold. The deer don't
No.
go, oh yeah, now we can move. They have to
No.
move all year.
They're moving. It's just they start moving in bigger patterns, and as food depletes throughout the year, of course they're going to move more, but they're going to bed closer to it. They're a slave to their stomach no matter what
Right.
time of year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's different browses, proteins, things they're going to eat.
And so in the hot season, let's say it's it's time for him to get. Say he went to bed at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now it's time for him to get up at 12 and eat every 4 hours.
You just walk in a circle where he's
He
at.
don't have to really come out of the draw if he don't want to. He can go right
He's
to the edge. He can peek in.
They're normally on the warm. They're on those north facing areas. Shady, a little
Yeah.
bit of airflow going in there.
Right. Right.
Not
Right.
saying always.
No, you'll catch him out.
I'm
Yeah.
just not a big fan like a lot of the guys on there. I'm not a big fan of hunting swamps.
Really.
I mean, I haven't killed a whole lot of big deer. In the deer on brag, I haven't. I haven't. I've never killed one kind of out of a swamp.
Okay. Not even off the edge of it. Okay.
I mean, I've seen them cruise the swamps.
Yeah.
They love those little fire breaks that used to be fire breaks. You ever notice when you get on those reed beds in swamp, there's always
There's
looks
a
like an
little
old logging
trail, a
road.
little logging
Well,
road. Yeah.
back when
That's where you find scrapes a lot of
When
times.
Fort Bragg was Fort Bragging, was what I call.
Yeah. Fort Bragging.
They were all planted back in those days. I mean, those boys, they literally there was a group of guys when I was a kid. All they did was plant year round, and maintain fire breaks and stuff like that. So, and what that equates to is me is that's an edge, and deer always, they can.
So when you say edge, that's okay. I always
It's
wonder
a
what you're talking
it's
about.
a it's basically just a change in terrain. It can be
So
anything.
you go from thick draw, thick area to that little trail,
It
and then
doesn't
it usually
always have to
opens
be.
up into pines.
It
Like,
doesn't even have to be thick though. It could be as something as easy as going out into what Fort Bragg calls pine and savanna.
yeah,
It could be the little scrub oaks,
uh-huh,
blackjacks, or those little blue jacks that are
yeah,
3-4 foot tall.
yeah.
There could be just a row of those for
I
50
know they love
yards,
those when it's cold.
but they can use that as just basically it's an escape.
Yeah.
They feel like they can get away. Edges are always a good thing, but I don't know. I've seen the deer on Fort Bragg do so many stupid different things when you think they're going to do this and they do the exact
They never
opposite.
read the script.
They
I
don't.
always say it took me
If you
probably
pattern,
it probably took me 10 minutes yesterday, 20 feet in the air in my saddle with the stick in my hand. Where am I going to put this stick?
yeah,
Because I had trail coming, 3 trails, and I had the wind going. I had it all set. It was perfect. But I was like, if I put the stick here, I'm gonna this is my strong side shot's gonna be this way.
mhm,
But I was like, man, it's such a good spot right here. And then I had so I mean, I literally set it up and was like, no. So then I thought to myself, let me set up in the best place that I feel like right now. And I set it up, and right when I got set up, I said, now let's change it because it never goes according to plan.
yeah, you might as well do
You
the
might as well
opposite.
just go ahead and do the opposite.
Yeah,
So
and that's another thing too. You can use deer hunting like math. You know, if you got a place and you're like, man, okay, this is this one trail, and they're always moving through here. Well,
Yeah.
go find a place where like four of those come to that.
Yeah.
So it's like four sits in one. Basically, you're just upping your odds.
Sometimes when you find those places, like you said, though, they're in spots that don't look very deery. And I know Randy says it all the time.
I
Oh,
don't
that's a
care.
dumb spot. You know how hard it is? Just try to get excited about going to, if you don't know what Savannah means, when you're driving in Fort Bragg and you see
It's wide ass open.
wide open, what I mean by wide open is there's a pine tree every 20, 30 feet. I mean, you can't hide in it, and it's got like maybe 2 to 3 foot broom straw grass, and that's it. That's the woodpecker habitat,
Yeah, it's
right?
loblolly pine stands and wiregrass, which is
Yeah.
basically a Moore County savanna,
Okay.
basically.
Now deer do move through that.
Mhm.
And I climbed a tree one day, I said, and there was 2 bucks. This was early season, a month ago or so. And they were bedded up about 90 yards from me. I climbed the tree. They didn't move.
Up on the ridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That place we drove by. So
Yeah.
I was on that spot we drove by. If you're looking at it, I was in the top right, the back right hand corner, and I was facing the road. So off to my left, which is basically where we were coming from, that Savannah area,
Yeah.
they were bedded up right in there.
Oh yeah.
But now look, take that spot, and I'll tell you, there's big deer in there. Go hunt it and see how excited you are to hunt that
Oh,
shit.
it's
It's
tough.
like,
It's
what am I hunting?
it's really
Where am I
tough.
going to hide?
But I mean, you can use the tree to hide. You're in a saddle, so I mean,
Yeah,
you really can if you got an idea where the deer are coming from. But
but there's nothing to look at.
it doesn't matter.
I'm
You just want to sit there until
think I
what
need.
you want to look at it shows up.
I'm gonna try it once with a
Yeah.
gun because I would, I could have killed one of them bugs if I would have had my gun. What gun season?
Yeah. I just my personal opinion on know which I don't know if it is. It's just how I hunt out there. A buck, is they like to be they're loners. Even when they're in bachelor groups. We've had this conversation
Hmm.
before. If you walk into a place and there's a bachelor group of bucks bedded, they're in a group, but they're sometimes 50, yards apart, but bedded up together. And those are the exact opposite. And I think what it is that the does like bedding down in the bottoms. They like that thick cover because they're
Hmm.
bitches and and smart. And the bucks, I think another reason they do that, even now when it gets cold, them south facing hills up on the ridges and stuff, all the deer seem to be there because it's warm. They can
Right.
soak up
So
the
if the
sun and
south
stuff.
facing hill means if the hill go, the sun
The
is
sun's on it throughout most of
right.
the
So
day
the
because of
side of the hill's facing the
the
south.
facing
Got you. Yeah,
south.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that's where most of your
So
sunlight
you'd be
is.
walking north if you were walking up a south facing hill.
Basically.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
If you're walking up it.
Trying to
But
just draw everybody a picture. That's
my
all.
thing is I personally believe that those bucks, especially the young bucks, dude, they're dumb.
They're dumb.
They're
Yeah.
teenagers. They're gonna do wherever a doe's at, they're like, "Woo, woo, woo," I'm
Yeah.
going there. A big deer that you want to hunt, I really think they like that wide open for a number of reasons. One is when you go by, you're like, I ain't hunting there. But the other, they can see everything.
Hmm.
Even when they're bedded down and they blend in almost to
You
be
ain't gonna see
invisible.
them. Yeah.
Jason and I, we had a instance. This is years ago. We were riding down the road, and it was just a bean field. It was dried up. It was time to harvest it. It wasn't green. It was just bean stubble. And he stepped on the brakes. And he was like, "Man, did you see that buck?" And I was like, "No." I mean, it's literally an 80-acre bean field. I was like, "Jason, you're losing it." What happened is the deer, soon as Jason's truck started to slow, he went.
Oh
He just
yeah.
put his head
He
down.
moved.
And Jason was like, "Man, I'm telling you." And I was like, "Nah." So he pulls over. We don't even know whose field this is. He's like, "Walk right there and I'll tell you, I'll direct you." I walked from me to you from that deer, and he was doing this. And he was a real good deer too.
Yeah.
Real, yeah,
That's the thing. Mature deer, a mature buck, he'll let you damn near step on them.
yeah. They'll let you walk
That's
by him
why.
and go out the back
That's why
way
if you ever do jump one, it's never while you're walking. It's always when you
when you
stop.
stop. Yeah,
If
most of
you're
the time.
walking, you look at your phone. All of a sudden, you're like maybe 20 seconds after you stop, you hear that. You're like, fuck, he was right there.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what's starting to get me back to want to go rifle hunting.
Yeah.
But we had an instance last year. We were sitting there, Jason and I. We walked in the woods, looked around, hung a camera, did like literally just kind of scurried through that little area, went back to our trucks, talked to the trucks for 10 minutes. And when I stepped onto the step rail of my truck, I guess it made the deer nervous because I was up higher.
Yeah.
And we were at any given point in time, we were within 15 feet of that buck and
Yeah.
never knew he was there. And he was laying in a ditch. like just a
That's a
straight
good
ditch.
buck right there.
And he was
That's a well-trained VC.
it was the deer. It was the deer we were hunting, which was even harder to swallow. But he was a great deer. They're smart. They adapt.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if they
They
didn't
also
adapt,
like if the wind is blowing. I know if the wind is blowing into your draw, you're expecting deer to come out. But like, so if you go in to hunt in the afternoon, there's a good chance that there's a buck midway up that hill facing the draw so he can see it with the wind blowing over his back.
I've heard that some of the guys from like the what's considered the true Midwest,
Yeah.
you know, like prairie areas,
Right. Yeah.
they say those deer, which I don't know, 'cause I don't have no experience. They say those prairie deer, they'll bed with the wind at their back because they can smell
They can
stuff
smell
behind them
coming.
and they can see what's in front of them.
Right.
I don't know if it's true. It's just what I've been told.
Well, I heard that on a couple of podcasts, even for like Southeastern. I don't know if it was Southeastern Sports, whatever that podcast is, but they're like, during the rut, you want to sit. So you got draw and you got hill. That's Fort Bragg, right? Not hill like a big slope, but it's just a downgrade.
It's a ridge.
Yeah, it's a ridge. So if you get, and it's good to get up on that ridge. I know everybody wants to get right up on that damn draw, but you're flat level with the draw, with the thick shit where they're bedded, and if the wind's blowing into it, your scent's going right in there. And if you throw your fucking milkweed out there, you'll see that it'll just go and it'll drop right down. But if you can get up on that hill a little bit, that thermal might carry a little over.
It could push you up. It could be, a little
morning. It might just go straight up.
Yeah, a little ravine. But at the same time, man, if I'm going to hunt a particular deer, I don't give a damn what way the wind's blowing. I'm gonna go hunt him. Just plain and simple.
Yeah, I
because
guess
he's there. I mean,
well, he's there, but see, look. So you got. Let's say you got at least 3 sides to a draw, right?
Mhm.
In your area. So you got this side, you got this side. You can walk through to get to the other side. And then you got the tip of it.
I'll go around.
Okay, but if he's in there and the wind's blowing from the south, and you're on the north side, so the wind's blowing up out of it, the chances are you're going to be on the wrong side.
Yeah, he's going to go that way.
He's going to go that way.
Yeah.
So you just said, I don't care.
I don't know what I'm saying is if I know he's bedded right here and the wind's blowing to him, I'm still going to go hunt where I think he's going to come out.
Okay.
If that makes sense. My wind will be blowing at him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I just hope that he's dumb enough for long enough.
I'm hunting a deer right now, and this draw has a dog leg to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well, it's longer, but it's only really thick and like this dog leg. And I'll say it runs east-west. So I know when I've seen him, he's usually coming out on the north side because what do we have here most of the time? We usually have northwest, northeast winds.
Well, yeah,
the winds are more north,
depending on the season.
For right now, I keep track of it every day. We get more north.
I think north is a more prominent wind during the cool season.
It is. So, but this past weekend we had southwest and westerly winds.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than go to the side where I had seen them, I went around to the backside. So now I'm sitting on the south side of the draw with the wind blowing southwest right towards this dog leg. So the dog leg point is like, if I'm him and I'm thinking like a deer, this is where he's going to come in. Because he's got like 3 majorly, like heavily traveled trails going into this thick shit.
He don't use those.
He was using one of them.
He may be near it, but
because that's where the tracks are going in and out. I'm talking big buck tracks. And at the tip over there were some rubs and everything. So I set up in the middle. So I had one here and an entrance. I call it an entrance, and then one over here. And about 6:30, when the sun starts to get like it's about to go down, I go ahead and do a light little rattle. Just in the past week, just like nothing big, not for a long time, and then I chill. I got 2 stories in this one. It's funny as hell. It scared the shit out of me. So I'm sitting there and I'm fucking, oh man, I ain't gonna see shit. I ain't seen shit by now. And I look over and I go like this, and out of my peripheral, I see a fucking tree, and there is a Teletubby wearing a hoodie, and he's popped out on the tree like this.
Jesus, you shouldn't probably tell this part all.
That's what it looked like. But in my mind, as I'm scanning, I go, oh, that's just a knot on a tree. And then I turn back to it. I'm like, well, what was it? I turn back and it's gone. Now I freak out. That was something there. If this was a human fucking with me, this is like a pygmy human wearing a hoodie. It looked demonic, But then I quickly realized I was looking at the wrong tree. Then I saw the knot on the tree.
Okay.
So I start staring at it. I'm like, oh, that it got me. I got a little excited. Like, what the fuck? What thing moved? And then right past it, I see something that I hadn't seen before. It looks like white weeds. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is because it's probably 170 yards.
Just blowing in the wind.
No, it was just sitting there. So I'm like, what is that? So I turn my head and I go, it reminded me of that time those bucks were bedded next to me when I climbed that tree. So I got my rifle scope out, and that's all I could see was some white stuff and all this thick briary shit. So I just took my grunt call and went, "Burp." And as soon as I did that, those two white things turned towards me, and I was like, "Oh, fucking deer!" And I could have maybe shot 170 yards, but I couldn't see the deer. I could just see its
Yeah, that
horns.
ain't safe anyhow. It's,
And so he sat there for a minute, and I watched him, and I got all excited. And I'm thinking, "Oh, he's gonna come to me," but instead he went back into the draw, and I'm like, and I heard some noise. I'm like, he's coming around because the wind's kind of blowing this way. He's gonna come downwind of it.
mhm.
And I sit there and I sit there and I'm patient. It seems like 5 hours is only like 15 minutes, but now it's dark. And I'm like, all right, I've waited, I waited. I heard some noise. So I hook up my retrieval rope. I'm getting everything packed up. And as soon as I get ready to like unhook everything, like take my bag and put it on my back, I hear like what sounds like a deer coming out of the draw. Stick break, shit move. So I freeze. I'm like, oh shit. And I hear him walking up, stopping, look. But there's a tree in front of me and there's all these trees. And I lock out my legs out to look around this tree. And there he is. All I can see is the moonlight in his antler
They can pinpoint you like no other.
right there.
Mhm.
And so, of course, I got my gun, and I know it's past time. I don't know. I say it's right at cutoff time. We're right at cutoff time. I couldn't see him in my scope. I couldn't see his body. And then he turned his head and he disappeared, but I heard him walking. So now I'm like, all right, I just don't want to move and I don't want to spook him because I want to come back for him. And I swear he stayed there and turned his head left and right and just stood there for like 10
He's
minutes.
trying to figure out where that deer
And
was.
I
Yeah.
I was shaking so bad from my knees being locked out that the fucking one stick started to fucking vibrate. And I'm like, "Oh, please go. Please go away. What am I gonna do? Because if I let my knees go, I'm not gonna be able to gently come into the tree. It's gonna
Yeah.
pop." And finally, he walked off enough to where I could get on the tree and rest. But by the time I got on the ground and got my phone out, it was like 7:45.
Yeah.
So that's how long I was like up there in that dark shit. But
Moral of the
yeah.
story is buy Swarovski.
Or a Leupold. I had a
Swarovski.
Vortec.
Yeah.
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 Swarovski better than Leupold as far as lighting. Because I was thinking that if I would have had my Leupold, I would have been able to see him.
Yeah. It gathers light pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my point is I went around to the south side because the wind was blowing from the southwest and he popped out there.
Oh yeah. Which I mean, and that kind of goes into another deal. I don't do a lot of calling and stuff like that. Number one, it always will. A mature buck is always going to put him downwind from me. Now, if I see a deer and he's not paying me attention, and I hit a grunt call or something, and he looks my way, I just stop.
So stop.
Yeah,
Don't do
just leave it
nothing. He's
alone.
coming to you,
He knows
man.
you're there. If he doesn't go,
Yeah.
leave him because you're just going to educate him.
Yeah.
Just let him go about his daily routine. Um, B is if he does come, he's coming directly to you.
Yeah.
So if you're
To the
tree,
T.
yeah, to
And
the
I'm gonna
tree.
tell you, if you're hunting, I learned this lesson last year. I know a lot of hunters say put the wind in your face because the deer can't smell you.
He's gonna go behind you
He's gonna
anyhow.
come behind you,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna sneak up. He ain't coming in there crashing. Everybody's like, oh, that deer came in looking for a
They
fight.
sometimes do.
Sometimes if you
Yeah.
get him in a rattle call, but if you see a deer or you respond, you hear a grunt and you respond, and then he responds, stop.
Mhm.
He already knows where you're at, and go ahead and shift your attention to the downwind spot. He's
Yeah.
coming,
I'll direct
or
him.
you can go to sleep because he's coming right to your tree. He's not going to come within 10 yards. He's coming right the fuck there. I promise you.
Yeah.
3 times now that's happened to me. They come right
I'll
to it.
grunt like and make it seem like it's coming from somewhere else, even when the deer's over here. And I don't like there's on Bragg. I can't think of very many places that I hunt that I'll actually rattle because they're definitely coming in behind you. Then, like
Yeah.
if I have something
Well, they ain't
blocking
coming in
me,
behind me because I got my back on the wind's blowing on my back. So I'm set up to
yeah,
where if he comes in downwind, he's coming right in front of me.
yeah. I don't. I mean, I just like if I rattle, I'll use like if you're somewhere you can use a pond, like actual water, not something they can go through, or the
Yeah.
road,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a big ass open field like the Dove Fields or something like that. I'll rattle then if it's one of those instances where they're going to be there. But I don't know. I I just sit still, be quiet the
I've
whole
had
time.
success with the rattle. Not like I always expect when I do this, like I'm gonna have that big Bambi 130, whatever, 150 come out looking for a fight. I always hear those stories. It never works that way. Usually it's like 20 minutes after you stop, you look down and there's a fucking buck with his head sticking out of the thing and he's looking, try to see where that was coming
I
from.
had a place last year. I got a video on my phone. I had a place last year. I was hunting. I was running late that morning, of course, because I hate getting up in the mornings. I despise it when it
I've
hunts.
learned to hate it too.
I just hate it. I'm like, man, I can sleep in, and I'm getting up. This is stupid. So
Yeah.
Jason will walk by, like, we'll drink coffee. I'm like, all right, put my shoes on. I'll go back to bed. Yeah. So I got in the stand one morning. It was like a Friday morning or something like that. I was like, the heck, I'm gonna go hunt. I'm just gonna sit until 1, get down, change where I want to go, blah blah, whatever. For some reason, I took my horns with me. I think I've showed you my rattle horns. I don't take them with me because they're so damn heavy.
Yeah, I don't take those
And
either.
but they sound better to me. So this morning I had them in the truck. I was like, oh, I ain't going far, piss on it. I'll take them with me. So I'm sitting there and it's hot and I'm bored and everything else. I'm like, well, piss on it. So I clang the horns together, and it's been 45 seconds. I hear this. I'm like, holy crap, for real?
Damn.
So here comes this little old you friggin' 4-pointer.
Yeah.
Runs in there, he's looking, and then he takes off running. I'm like, oh, I don't think he came to a rattle, but I'm gonna say he did. And then like a minute behind him, here comes a couple dogs from
No.
wherever, like chasing him up. I was
So
like,
he was
oh,
running from
piss
the
on it.
damn
Yeah, he
dog.
was running
Yeah.
from the dog. So I did not rattle that deer in at all. But I thought it was kind of funny to go through it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Bragg's a different creature, man.
It's so hard to hunt.
It is hard. It's
It's
really
so
hard.
hard.
And if it
I
was
look at these people
thicker
that
out,
are like they got corn, and I know if you can probably get away with it breaking the rules. I know a lot of people that do because I come across it all the time out there, but I just don't. I'm not. If I had my own property, I would probably do it. Because why wouldn't
I
you?
grew
But
up hunting over corn, man. But I'm here to tell you, this is my personal opinion. With the exception of early season and dead ass peak of the rut, it is very hard to kill a buck off of corn in southeastern North Carolina. Now, I know
yeah,
the guys up in like Chatham, even more going over that way. They as long as the acorns aren't falling, they can.
yeah,
But unless it's early season and he hadn't been bothered, or it's the rut and he basically is tending a doe and she decides to come there and feed.
yeah.
That's my experience.
But it's just something because they're so elusive. I mean, they are elusive
Yeah,
creatures.
they're just gonna
Bucks
eat
are. I
it.
mean, the does. I've kind of trained myself now that when I see a doe, I'm like, fuck.
I still get nervous.
Because I get excited because there's a deer, and then I realize it's a doe. So yeah, it's better for me because I used to get so fucking, oh, I'm gonna I'd kill it.
The only does I don't like is the ones that come hang out for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, bitch.
get the fuck out
Hey,
of
I'm
here.
I,
Like
I want to move.
I
So
feel like
yeah,
it's such a waste of excitement because I don't want to kill. Now I do. Now it's like rifle season, and I got my bow, or I'm probably not gonna. I won't shoot a doe with my rifle because I don't ever hunt the either sex areas. But now, if a doe steps out, she's getting smacked, and now I start thinking, damn, I should have killed. Probably 4 or 5 of them already that I let walk. And even
yeah.
that 6 pointer, that was a big 6 pointer. He might have
Well,
been a 7. I didn't. I mean, I couldn't really see him that well. It might have been a 7 pointer.
winter always, she's like, how about just shooting a deer early? Don't wait until the end of the year or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I'll try.
Yeah.
But it's hot. And I'm like, I just really don't feel like messing with
I
them.
will tell you this though, if in the early season, like in the first month or the first week or whatever, if I were to go out and get lucky and swack a 130 plus, my hunting would decelerate. I wouldn't hunt as much. Like I hunt the way I hunt until I kill the buck that I'm happy with. And then I'll go twice a week, or I'll
Yeah.
just go in the afternoon, or I might go, or I might quit altogether, just maybe go on a weekend or two.
Yeah.
Because my whole goal is just to kill a buck, not
Yeah.
to tag out.
I just, man,
Although I looked at the price of meat today, red
it's
meat,
crazy.
and I was like, I need to start killing deer.
Yeah, it's
This
crazy.
cheap ass choice beef at Food Lion that I wouldn't even eat normally is like $12 for a fucking choice steak.
Hmm.
That's usually like the $3 steak. Anyway,
Yeah, that's the ones that been like the manager special.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. That's normally how it is.
$12, that thin, no marbling.
Yeah, it's
Like
terrible.
absolutely like the fucking cow walked 1,000 miles and killed over and died. And that's what you get to eat.
Died of old age.
No fat,
Nice and pink, no red to it.
no
Yeah.
red. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I like deer meat, man. But I will tell you, I've got to where I don't know what it is. I've gone away from brag. I didn't hunt brag for quite some time, when we had the hunt club in South Carolina. We hardly ever hunted there. Got back into it when Dad passed away briefly, and then got to where I duck hunted. So I didn't hunt at Bragg at all. I duck
Right.
hunted, didn't deer hunt at all. Then I've learned that I was being an idiot, went back to deer hunting. But I'm as happy just sitting at Bragg as I am. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just because it's all I've ever known, and it's to me it's pretty.
I love
But
it.
that's one of the reasons I go deer hunting.
I
'Cause
love it.
I've learned over the last couple of years I just suck lately, but I don't have the time.
My stress in deer hunt is self-inflicted. Um, because I like to talk shit,
Hmm.
you just it comes back on you. So if you're talking shit about somebody killing something, well, eventually you're gonna have that time or that lull, which for me has been like 4 years where I ain't killed anything worth, bragging about.
Yeah,
And it just becomes like competitive. So I'm like, I need to get something, what I'm saying? I keep fucking up. But then I remember that I'm going on year 11 now. So last year I had two really good opportunities on really good bucks, but just couldn't make it happen. And I'm not so sure that I have what it takes to make it happen this year. Like, you get within when that deer was underneath me. I mean, I was like a leaf, bro. I mean, I was
hmm,
trying to kill him, and I was smart enough not to do something stupid, like just take a stupid shot, or what I'm saying. So I was smart
yeah,
enough to learn, like fight another day. Like he's here. You've seen him here before. Now he's here. This is the second time you've seen him here. Let him go. Come back and get him. Obviously, those rubs are his. This is like his area, and he's
yeah,
a big buck, so he's probably going to hold this area. He's probably got it locked down.
yeah. I
There's
mean,
no
like I said, I
range.
think a lot of times we see deer during daylight. That's a lot
Deer
of
during daylight.
yeah, that's a lot of D's.
Yeah.
Um, that you're close to where they want to be. It's not like we were just talking. It's not some destination they're roaming
Yeah.
at night or whatever it may be. Because we've had deer in the past on cameras that I don't care. It was every night from say opening weekend of rifle until the 10th of December. Every night at 1 o'clock in the morning, they're there every night.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing. That's the only place we
So
ever
if you
got
have
them.
that, I got a question. There's a guy that asked me a question, and I said, you know what? I'm going to ask that on the podcast. Because let me. What was this guy's name? Okay, so Ryan Pruitt. I said that right, right? Prewitt.
Sounds like Pruitt.
Pruitt. Yeah. He says, I have a handful of bucks that only come out either when I'm not in my stand, that's typical, or right when shooting light is gone and I have to wait them out. Meaning he's in his stand, they're coming out at dark, it's too dark to shoot them.
They know he's there.
Will they show during light later in the season? I am a muley hunter, born and raised from the Northwest, so the whitetail tree hunting is newer to me. So basically, he's got deer on camera. It sounds like he's hunting off of a bedding area, like a draw.
Yeah.
And when he's there, they're not coming out until right at dark,
Hmm.
or they're coming out at daylight whenever he's not there.
Yeah. Well, to to me that would, and I don't know if it's right or not. To me that would basically tell me that I'm walking past him to go get in the stand. That makes sense.
Yeah,
They know
they
he's
know he's
there.
there.
Needs a different
So I would
approach.
say there's a lot to that question. If I'm going to attempt to answer it, there's information that's missing. Are you going there every day, every time you hunt?
What
Are they
wind?
patterning you?
Yeah. What wind is?
What wind is it? Because if
Yeah.
you're sitting close enough to see them come out and right at dark and you have to wait them out, it means that you're seeing them come out. Maybe if the wind's on your back and you're looking at them, maybe they smell you.
Hmm.
Like you said, maybe you're walking past them. So change. Josh Whipper said change trees. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I would say probably if if say out of 10, I don't know how to say this. If they're primarily coming out of this one spot and that's where you're zeroing in on, maybe check the wind. Like come when the wind's say blowing into it, and what Jonathan said, cheat the wind. Don't get right in front of it. Try to get back up off it if it goes uphill and get higher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be closer to it, go higher so your smell goes over them.
Yeah. You can give him. I mean, take every advantage you want, but I mean, if the stand's here and he sounds like he's hunting a corn pile, and the
Yeah, he's
corn,
on private land.
yeah,
He's
and
not on
the
brag.
corn
Yeah.
pile's there, then maybe change 90, 180 degrees.
Yeah,
To
change
see
trees.
if
So
that helps. Changing trees will probably really help them because we hunted permanent stands a lot in South Carolina, down in Columbus County, and just permanent tree stand hunting in general. But there, we used to have does. They'd step out and go, just
yeah.
look dead at you. They knew you were there. We had some private ground here in town. Jason and I used to hunt, and they would walk out and look at you in a tree, and they knew they were does. They knew we weren't going to shoot them. They're right about their
I was
business.
gonna say if it's a permanent stand, he didn't ever say if he was climbing or permanent stand, but it kind of sound like permanent stand.
Very well. Or he may be just
Put a
carrying his
scarecrow in
climbing.
it. Like get some old clothes and stuff it and put him in
That's
there.
too much work.
I know guys
That's
that
like
do
the
that.
guy with the
I know a guy on
mannequin.
Bragg that does that.
You got the guy with the mannequin in the box blind, so your silhouette's always there.
Yeah, he just this one guy I ran into him last year has a lock on, and he had old jeans like a scarecrow all tied together, just full of pine straw, and had a hat on it. And he said, "I'm putting this bitch just at the end of the season." This is 2 years ago. He said, "I'm putting this bitch in my lock on. Got orange on it and everything. Gonna stay in the tree.
What the hell?
That way, throughout the year, them deer are gonna go by and they're gonna see it. So that when they come by, and granted they don't smell you, and they look up and they see some anomaly in a tree, it's not an anomaly." And I watched a guy do that on YouTube in Texas. He put the scarecrow right above the corn feeder, and then he put his stand right above the corn feeder, and the deer were out bucks,
Yeah.
but they're trained at this point. They're pets.
Bucks are not bucks, but deer in Texas they're their own breed
Yeah.
in themselves.
But if you have, I'm going to answer your question here in a second. If you've about the scent control, if you've got deer that you've got trained to come in at 9 o'clock in the morning because that's when the feeder buzzer goes off, and you're watching them, oh, I'm not going to shoot him this year. You you you're kind of building up a trust with that animal. That animal kind of just don't fear you no more.
Not
He
really.
knows you're feeding him.
That's just part of management, though. Not every state. I mean, that's no different.
That's not hunting, though.
That's no different than having.
That's harvesting a deer.
That is no different than hunting over a food plot. I don't give a damn. You can watch a deer grow until he's 4.5 years old, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna take him at 5.5." You decide to kill him, his butt's gonna be a no show. Just how it is.
I just think that I was on a hunting preserve or a hunting lease in Alabama, and when the guy I was with, when he would drive in to fill up corn piles, deer would come out
That's because
they know he's putting food out.
Well, that's the same.
So you're not hunting them no more. You're assassinating these poor fucking things.
That's the same. That's the same with the farmer that drives up and down the fields.
Yeah.
They're used to that truck. Now you go get a white truck, it don't make sense.
Who's your favorite deer hunter of all time?
Deer hunter?
Your favorite hunter. If you could be any deer hunter out there and his exploits and his trophies and all of his shit, out of all the famous ones out there, what's the one you look up to the most?
God, that's a tough one.
Easy for me.
Well, you don't know that many. That's why.
Yeah, but I know the one.
Who?
Charles Beatty.
Oh, well, that's because he's a damn renegade.
Charles Beatty's my fucking hero.
Yeah, that dude, he did it for the love of the adrenaline and the wildlife.
Yes, and the trophy.
I love listening to him. That dude he's still to this day with being sick and everything he's been through. He's I don't know, man, because I've got quite a few. I don't know who. Ugh, that's hard, man. Because there's
I don't know many of them.
Yeah,
so
there's 5. Don Higgins is one.
Eberhard.
No, not hard.
The scent control, the scent lock.
No, it's not John. I can assure you that. I like John, but he's not one.
I don't believe his scent lock theory.
Hey, I really don't know, man. I grew up watching the juries.
Yeah,
Friggin', I love them. I don't know the guy's name, but there used to be this old VHS video, and it was called. If anybody knows, please let me know. But it was called Whitetails Eye to Eye.
Never heard.
And now
of
this
it.
is in the 80s.
Yeah, the VHS tapes.
VHS tapes. He stalks. He finds a buck bedded in a cornfield, standing corn.
Is that Fitzgerald?
No, it's not Fitzgerald. This one is, I don't know. It's called Whitetails Eye to Eye.
I have to look it up.
He spot and stalks them. It's the old round wheel bear 2 whitetail, whatever the heck they are. And he's shooting deer at like 5 and 6 yards and standing corn. He takes his shoes off and he's in his socks.
Yeah.
I really like that guy. I grew up watching the juries. Um, Bill Jordan, Buck. I mean, I watched those guys, but I don't really. They were more of the start of the commercial lives. You
The
know,
commercial stuff on like the Pursuit Channel and the Hunt Channel,
yeah,
to me, again, these guys, and it's fun to watch. It's
it is.
entertainment.
It is.
They're usually in the Midwest. They're usually on preserves. It's usually pretty staged. Like there are places that if you have the money, you can go and maybe you look at a website now, but you can say you go look at a wall and you pick out the deer that you want to kill and you pay them your $40,000 and they're like, okay, you're going to go to this stand.
Well, there's
He'll
not
be
all.
there about 9:30 in the morning.
That's a ranch, and that's a whitetail ranch. I don't. I'm sure there may be a
If you
few
pay for
guys.
it, I would love to go. But
I'm not
the
going.
guy who kills a 130 on Fort Bragg that's a bigger trophy than the one you're
Yeah,
killing
and I
on.
don't think those guys who are hunting like that's like whatever old buddy's name is with Seek 1. Like he's been accused of all that stuff. Man, he's literally hunting stuff that other people are hunting. He's not doing anything bad.
Who?
What I can't remember his name with Seek 1. It's like Lee, I believe.
I don't know.
Um, but now I'm sure there are some guys that have tried to become, whitetail enthusiasts. I'm gonna be famous for deer hunting
Yeah.
and have tried that. But as far as people I'm talking about, to my knowledge, they don't shoot
It's fair chase.
pin deer, is what I
Okay.
call them.
Yeah.
So it's all been fair chase. Now you're going to some of the best whitetail ground in the
Yeah.
country.
Well, there is, how do I say this? Curated whitetail habitat.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
It's
there's the whole
management.
industry. Like if I had 300 acres, I could hire someone. They come in, they would cut the trees,
Yeah, they'll do everything you need
funnels,
to.
and they
Yeah,
would do it. And then you feed them and you put
yeah,
the mineral. It's basically there's guys that know how to keep public deer
absolutely.
on your property without a fence.
Yeah.
So, but if you have
Don
enough
Higgins,
space for them
yeah,
to, yeah.
Don Higgins, one of them.
So if I'm going to do a show, I would like, see, if I ever did a hunting show, if anybody ever said, create a hunting show, it would be the best hunting show ever. But it would probably be the most boring one because it's going to be a lot of fucking walking and
Yeah,
sitting in
yeah,
public land.
yeah.
But I tell you what, when that one deer goes down, which would be like once every 5 episodes,
I
that would be like
enjoy.
more.
I have now growing up, like I said, watching the Jury Brothers, which I now Mark and Terry Jury, I've got a lot of respect for, not just because of the deer they killed, but they they grew from I think it was like Mad Game Calls when I was a kid, and then Jury Outdoors and stuff.
Mhm.
And now with all the excess and big deer they kill, like they do a lot with Catch a Dream, they do a lot with other people. I like watching those guys. They're wholesome people. Um, but I've got to where it's like the guy who's like trying to figure out how to cross a creek because he don't have enough money to buy a canoe or a kayak, hunting public ground, and he's like, all right, man, he's in a Subaru. It's got, the spare tire on it because he didn't want to spend the money on a new one because he bought new broadheads. I got to where I like watching those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're a lot of fun. And another one that's fun to watch that used to work for a real tree is Philip Culpepper. He was actually just here in North Carolina hunting during early season. And I
Yeah.
think between him and who he was hunting with, they hunted like 20 days before one
Wow.
of them killed a deer.
Yeah.
Like up there near Halifax, that area of
Mhm.
Warrington, kind of Roanoke
That's,
River Basin
yeah, yeah,
area.
yeah. Northern North Carolina. What do you
Yeah,
think
so
about hunting public?
I used to like them.
What happened?
I think they're commercialized now, man.
They
They're
sold out. Well, it comes
no,
a
no, no. I
point
don't
where
think they
they
sold
don't
out,
sell out. You buy in.
but like I liked it when it was they all had different bows. None of them had matching camouflage.
Yeah.
Now as far as deer hunters, I think they're some of the best there is. Like Zach, whatever his name is with long hair, that dude, he's spot and stalk hunter. He's probably one of the better ones
Mm.
there is. But I don't like I watch a lot of YouTube hunting and fishing, but I don't really just watch
I don't
anybody.
watch it like
I'm
I
more
tried
apt
to
to
watch a
watch.
movie the other night. I tell you, I watched The Bike Riders. I was
I
so
watched it the
excited.
same night. It sucked.
I didn't like it.
No, it was terrible. Even Winter, when we got done, she's like, "I'm glad we didn't pay for
I
that."
haven't paid for it because I would have
Yeah.
paid for it because like Tom Hardy and I do like that cute guy that was the star of the movie. Fucking the guy that played Elvis, Austin Butler,
Well,
the
yeah.
guy who played the main character. But I like Tom Hardy. But that movie sucked. But I think it's not. Maybe the movie was good, but my attention span for movies now is gone. I don't want to
Yeah.
watch TV shows. But the reason why I was tying that together is I watch a lot of YouTube for specific things.
Me too.
Like I need to know about something specific. Boom. Like
Mhm.
what's his name here? Let's bring up a question here. JFN, whoever that is.
I watch a lot of reviews.
He wanted to know about scent control, so he wants to know He's been busted 4 times this year, washed. Let me see, that says scent spray in a bag. Don't change it till I'm in the woods. Nothing changed from my routine last year. Just took it for something new. Playing the wind, scent lock bag, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, it sounds like you're doing
Yeah, he's
everything.
doing everything right. He's just not hunting the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he says he is right there doing all that. Maybe you just look, I always thought I was playing the wind too. I didn't realize I was not playing the wind until this year. I would say this is the first year of my hunting career where I'm utilizing the science. And what I mean by the science is um, the wind and the topographical, like looking at an area topographically and trying to predict where the deer are going to be before I even go in there, and then go in there, look around, find the shit, and then when I'm done, I go back and I compare the two. And the more I do that, the more the spots I'm picking are the spots I'm finding.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I'll burn a tank of damn diesel riding,
Yeah.
and I'll mark
I
every
think I
single.
posted the
Yeah,
meme from Trent Ellis. That's like that's scouting with Jonathan.
yeah.
He drives
I
and
drive, I
he's
drive,
like, "What
I
do you mean get
drive.
out the truck?"
No, I'll
I'm like,
tell
"What? You don't walk over?" He's like, "Why? I can
no.
see the tracks here. I see there's
And
food. There's probably a scrape there."
and a lot of times what I'll do is like we'll go. I'll drive a whole bunch. I'll mark a lot of stuff, and then Jason and I will go scout. We'll park a truck, and then we'll go park a truck, and then we'll walk back to a truck.
Yeah.
We may walk 5, 6, 7, 8 miles a day in between hunting.
You know what's fucked up? I was doing that more when it was hot. Now that it's cool, I don't want to do it. Like
Yeah, no.
walk.
See, I mean, you want to be in, you want to
I'm
be in
burned
the
out, I
you want to be
think.
in the stand now, but every
Yeah,
day,
I want to be in the
people
stand.
talk about the October lull, like getting into like this time of year. Like to me, I text you the other day. I said this weekend's scrape week.
Yeah.
To me, just
No, you're right.
what I start seeing. So you got the little young bucks that are going to start, sparring and messing around and stuff like that. Then you're going to start seeing some rubs pop up because they're going to start getting their necks strengthened up for fighting or rutting and
Mhm.
whatever it may be. Scrapes have been in the woods; they stay year round.
Mhm.
If you go find it's a community scrape. You're going to start seeing some individual scrapes pop up.
Yeah.
But now it's getting to that time period where everything is coming out of that what people call an October lull. I don't really agree with. I just think it's because the deer's patterns have changed and you haven't changed with it. Because
Why would they change? Because bucks travel together, and now
they're hard horn now.
they're hard
Testosterone's going,
horn.
so
They start separating.
they're busting up.
Randy watched a little button buck that just didn't it seemed like it didn't know where it needed to be for like a long. This was Sunday.
Probably didn't.
I said he probably got kicked out of his group. His mama don't want him no more because he's too old, and the older bucks probably chased him out.
Well, the does will run their fawns off when they're ready to breed.
Right.
And I mean, I'm sure. Man, I saw a no legit, no lie, a legit fawn dead on Highway 87 right there at the railroad tracks coming out of Bladen County heading into Fayetteville.
Uh-huh.
And she couldn't have been more than 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old.
Wow, that's young.
So if you put that in perspective, I think a doe's 200 days of gestation. So that'll put her born in the middle of February,
Right.
or conceived in the middle of February. So I think that, I mean, if you go to the beach, the damn bucks are rutting.
Yeah, they breed. I saw a
So
study on that. They don't breed as much, but they breed
I
even
think,
out of
yeah,
horns.
because, well, they have to be hardhorn to be fertile. There's
The male deer does
they
not have
they're
semen. I
they're
guess
when their horns fall off, they're infertile until they go
so.
hardhorn.
They're pretty much gay most of the year.
They're hanging out with dudes.
They're
too.
hanging out with
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's why a lot of the people down south, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, some of the Oklahoma, I think is one of them. They feed cotton seeds.
Yeah.
Cottonseed is like full of proteins. It's really good for the deer, but it has something in it, an enzyme in it that actually uh, will make a deer infertile. So as soon as they're about to come out of velvet, they'll actually pull that. As long as the deer isn't continually ingesting it, then they're right back how they are. So once he goes hardhorn is when he's fertile again. It's when his testosterone starts
I didn't know that.
rising back. And
So how was a deer conceived in February if his horns are falling off?
They don't mean deer don't a typical deer around here. I wouldn't start this. Not this isn't like a cold hard fact. If we go look for sheds, we don't go before Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So that's how I look at it. Like I wish they would get rid of our September,
like give us another month,
like the Midwest does.
Yeah,
and let us hunt October 1 until like January 15th.
Yeah.
I would, that.
I would rather that too.
Yeah, or even
I wouldn't be mad if they started the deer hunting season like you, I guess what
October
you're saying,
1.
October
Yeah, no
1.
matter what day it comes in,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
like
October
90%
1.
of the big buck states in the
Yeah,
country
because
do.
coming in early, I was like, oh, September, yeah, it's gonna be great. And don't get me wrong, I was
sucks.
pumped to get in there. And the first week, I saw more deer early in the season than I ever had seen before. I attribute that to the being able to get in the right tree with the saddle and the one stick and all that. But then it kind of slowed down.
Oh yeah.
I went 5 hunts without
Well,
seeing a fucking
everything's
deer.
changed because now it's not just the hustle for us personally. It's not just the hustle and bustle of the troops. It's the the odd traffic.
Yeah.
It's not troops
Yeah,
and
and
what they're used
everybody
to.
invading your favorite hunting spot because they heard some rumor somewhere, or they're hunting a dead deer. That's starting to piss me off, man. There used to be
It's the
there
way in public.
literally. I'm not. I just started hunting Fort Bragg in 2014, so I'm not claiming any type of OG going back to the '80s status. But I will tell you, when I first started hunting this area, it was only ever 3 people tops. It was myself, a guy that used to work he was the admin before you were,
Mm.
and the guy that everybody knows. I'm trying to be as vague as
You told
possible.
everybody and their brother who that
Yeah,
is.
but that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. If I saw 3 people there, I felt like I was like the third wheel. Sometimes I wouldn't go because they were there first.
Yeah.
So I would always text the dude that worked at the station and be like, "Yo, are you hunting?" He's like, "Yeah, me and so and so." I'm like, "All right."
Hell, I've rifle hunted there before.
Yeah, that's how long it goes
Yeah.
back. But the other day, there were 7 people in early season.
I've seen 11 in there before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll see 11 again as soon as it gets cold, and everybody thinks,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's cold. The bucks are getting up."
I'll tell you another thing because I'm kind of it's strange to me. What is with Croatan, dude? Every time you look at the page, it's like full of people.
Brennan Wheatley says we made a podcast about hunting for, yeah, but we don't ever say spots, and it was getting crowded before the podcast because the podcast didn't start till last week, and you started hunting there in 2018. You're one of the invaders I'm talking about. What are you talking about?
How many
That's
times?
Brennan.
How many times you hunted my persimmon tree this year? What's Joshua says, buddy? There were 77
archery hunter signed out last week. There's a yeah, I get it. No. I get it. I'm just saying, in this particular area, no one ever hunted because it was too. It was like it didn't look deery enough. It wasn't far enough away.
Nah, and also too. Now we're here talking about go hunt where you probably would never have thought of in the past.
Yeah,
so you got to
yeah,
think of
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But at the same time, and I'm not knocking you
Yeah,
by any means, so don't take this personal.
yeah.
If you know how to hunt, you can still kill them
You're right.
because a lot of people are.
You're right.
You
And
know
I
what I mean?
don't. I mean, I don't look. I don't
so-
have. There's one guy that we know that prefers to know where you are hunting, so he can look and say, okay, well, this guy's not killing them, and I know he's hunting
Well,
here.
that's
So where's that deer? The deer's here,
yeah.
but he's not.
But
So where's he going? Let me set up over there. That is
the information that's readily available to everybody.
Yeah.
Though. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's a like I made the comment last year on whatever podcast it was on. I think it's harder to hunt around the other hunters than it actually is to kill a deer. Like if I could take area ABC, whatever the hell they are,
Mhm.
and get it to myself, hell, I kill a good deer every year. I
Yeah.
got that much confidence myself. My thing
Yeah.
is now is it's there's pressure on base, and I don't have the time like I used to.
Yeah.
Like I didn't care what was going on. The last 4 years I've probably matured more than I have in the last 34 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, I ain't gonna go today. I don't care. I got this needs to be done prior to. Whereas it used to be
deer hunting.
it used
You
to
see
be
that meme I
exactly-
posted? Life goals, me, and then the
Yeah.
big pit of deer
And I
hunting.
used to be that guy. Like it did not like I'd get behind on work to go deer hunt. It was a shitty day to even go, but I had FOMO. So I was
Well,
like,
I'm glad I
going.
got one of the hardest working people in the business as my partner because
Yeah.
when I let shit slide because I got to go hunt and he picks up the slack, I'll make up for it. You know what I'm saying? I think we're doing all right. I don't think I've left you hanging too many times. Maybe yesterday, but I did offer to come relieve you when you were sitting out there.
Yesterday wasn't even either.
Yeah, but
because,
you had to sit out there because of the little debacle. I was like,
yeah, but you had.
I
40
even
other
said,
things to
I
go.
said, well, do you want me to come and relieve you? Like it was kind of like one of those. Please don't say yes, because now I'm going to be obligated, and I really want to go hunt.
My mind on that particular instance, I want like that's kind of like one of them Like I want to be there when it's done, so I know
Yeah.
it's done right. Because I don't want to eat 10 grand,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
But as far as hunting that area, I'm really just, I don't, as many people, when I've seen there's been 11 people signed in, I ain't never seen them. I
no,
see them signed in, but I've never seen them. Like I might see a car like in the off time,
man,
but
when you're hunting archery though, like
it doesn't, I'm just fucking
500
around.
acres
Yeah.
archery hunting, that hunt's
Yeah.
big, but it also can hunt small depending on what time of year it is, and I don't know. I've just gotten to the point where I don't care no more, man. I'm just gonna go deer hunting. If I used to, dude, I would hide in my truck, like, because everybody knew what I was driving. Like, I tell Jason if I want to hunt at the road, I'm like, all right, man, drop me off.
Try, yeah.
Or I
Yeah.
tell him, like, man, don't you fall. He's like, man, nobody knows what this piece of shit. Nobody knows who drives this. I'm like, yeah, they do, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. But now it's just, I made the comment to Skipper. I told him, we were talking about something with deer hunting or whatever early in the season. I said, dude, the only thing I'm gonna do this year is have fun, because the past two I have not.
I'm not having fun.
I have
I'm having
not.
fun while not having fun. But I think it's like I said, it's
Well, that's
self-inflicted.
self-inflicted, and you're putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
If you would just go say the hell with it and quit overthinking it. Okay, you get all these guys, man, and they're like the new guys that always say, I see a bunch on the post a lot. They're like, okay, I'm finding fresh sign and I'm hunting it. Well, that's cool, but where's the fresh sign at? I mean, you need to put into consideration where you find that versus where, if you're deer hunting, your goal is to go shoot a deer, whether it's a button buck or a 40 pointer.
Not
You,
mine.
you know what I mean? If you just want
40
to,
pointer all the way,
if you just
baby.
want to kill a deer, you need to get okay.
Yeah.
If if it's up in the middle of the Sahara Desert, you need to kind of put into consideration, like, all right, man, there's porta johns here, and I just saw the Humvees leave bunches of deer tracks. Okay, they're probably not here during the daytime.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't hunt that side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see
Yeah,
what you're saying. Yeah, 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 yeah.
you find the fresh sign and hunt it, but at the same time,
What, yeah, where would they be? Why would they be there? And
yeah,
try to figure out why they would be there in the daytime.
Jason and I, we talk all the time about how, okay, you think the deer's bedding here and he's feeding here. So you go here and you hunt the feed and you watch the does walk out at 4 o'clock, but you never see the buck. You get back to the truck, you're sitting there taking your stuff off, and your phone goes boom, and the
Yeah.
buck walks by.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, because we literally, in
So
layman terms, we finally just said, okay, well, the deer aren't getting on their feet, so we're going to go closer to them
yeah,
and cut them off in transition. That's
right.
where you always hear people say, "Oh, I'm hunting transitions,"
Transitions.
and
Yeah.
maybe it's a funnel where, because bucks, when in the morning when thermals are rising, they know where them does bed. They use those funnels to access those areas quicker. If they know does typically bed in reed bed B in whatever area it is,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to run that ridge with the thermals rising with a north wind where it blows, because they can scent check it. All
Right.
they got to do is stay on their feet. And
So
it's just
on that
cruising.
notion, if you have a bedding area and there's a hill up to, it's going to be a fire break. I don't care where you're going, Fort Bragg.
There's a fire
There's
break.
going to be a fire break. So you got fire break. This is typical Fort Bragg. You got a fire break. You got downhill
Fire break.
to the draw, and then on the other side you got a fire break. But in between the fire break and the draw, there's usually a little collection of scrub oaks or
Yeah.
oak grove.
And they love those
They
edges.
love walking through that because they can scent check the bottom. And I've seen them do it.
Mhm.
They'll walk. So they'll walk midway up the hill. Usually, if you go midway up the hill, there's a group of trees,
Absolutely.
and a lot of times you'll find scrapes in there. That's a good place to look for scrapes. But when you're gun hunting and it's cold and it's during the rut, rather than get right on the damn draw, you can get in the middle of the hill, or just hunt that middle section because that's where they're walking.
Yeah, if you think, like, if you have the swamp here, halfway up the hill is food.
Yep.
And then a lot of times you'll see too, the fire breaks that I was talking about that always run parallel with the reed bed,
Yeah.
swamps, bottoms, whatever
Yeah.
the hell you want, draws,
I
whatever
call
y'all
those
want to
just
call them.
trails. Yeah,
Yeah.
draws. Yeah.
There's also another one halfway up the ridge.
Yeah.
It's just growed up, and
Yeah.
them deer, they'll use them as travel
Yeah.
corridors as well. Now, if I'm rifle hunting and the deer are moving here and all this stuff, now if I'm bow hunting, I'm gonna go right there where I think they're moving. If I'm
Yeah.
rifle hunting, I'm gonna put where everything I possibly can see,
Yeah.
I can see, and still maybe have a 200-yard shot. That's what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up
That's-
shooting any further than that.
That's too far for me.
Yeah.
I have my weapon zeroed with a 308. Now, I'm not no weapons expert, no sniper, but I have my weapon zeroed at 150 yards, dead center.
Mhm.
Whereas with a 308, you're supposed to be 1.8 or 2 inches above dead center at 150. So at 300, you're dead on.
Yeah.
But I never shoot 300. I never shoot. All my shots on Fort Bragg are, which screws me because I could have had a shot Saturday at like a 170. I wouldn't have took it, even if he was all out in the open. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have took it because I'm not zeroed for that. I
I
would
would've
have had to
that.
play Kentucky windage.
I
You know what I
did
mean?
the
But
I
then some guy, Brian, was telling me, I guess he's a sniper guy. He was like, "Well, it's only like a this much drop." He knew all the angles.
probably inch and a quarter.
Like, and I was like,
Yeah.
he said he should have took the shot, but I couldn't see the body of the deer.
Yeah.
But
I'm good at
I,
Kentucky winters. You can ask Josh that, man. We were shooting our bows one day, and Skipper's like, "Well, where are you dialing your?" I'm like, "Kentucky winters, man. Don't worry about it."
yeah.
But no, I did. A gentleman, he showed me how to do it. I shoot a 270, and he said, "You ever done a 27-yard zero?" I was like, "I have no idea what the hell you're talking about." So put it in a gun vise, lead sled, whatever it is, and literally where it shoots hole in holes at 27 yards. And now my gun will shoot 1.5 inches high at 100, dead on at 200, and then an inch and a half at 300 low.
Okay,
So, I
that's
mean,
good.
I don't know if that's correct exactly, but
I don't know.
it works.
There's too much that goes
I
into
kill
it. They're
some
like, "Well,
deer,
what grain bullet are you shooting?" I'm like,
but
"I don't know. The Remington soft tip kind,
I shoot the only.
Orlocks, whatever grain they are. I
See,
don't know."
I'm the when it comes to the tip, the only bullet I will shoot. I don't care who makes it as long as it's got a Barnes TSX bullet in it. I'll shoot it.
What is that?
It's a I shoot the 140 grain. There's a TSX and then there's a TTSX. The TSX is like a hollow point, where the TTSX is like a ballistic tip. I hate ballistic tips. They
Fuck a
suck.
ballistic tip. You know how
They
many deer I shot and thought I
There's
missed them?
no blood trails,
No
no
blood trail, no
nothing. Yeah,
nothing. They just looked like, "What the hell was that?" And they ran off.
yeah. But
When
I
I shoot
don't.
them with a Corlock, Remington Corlock, they
Yeah.
drop.
I like the TSX in that Barnes bullet. I'm a fan of Barnes, but I don't rifle hunt a whole lot. But also, when I go rifle hunting, I probably can't tell you out of the last 20 times I've rifle hunted, I've walked more than 10 feet off the fire break.
Yeah.
So I just don't.
I
You
hunted.
know,
I hunted in the situation we were just talking about. Where you want to get the most distance.
I
I
drop my
was
standoff.
literally on the. That's what me and John did.
I drop it off with the truck.
John was like, "What are we doing?" I said, "We're going to hunt here." I said, "But we throw everything out on the ground. We'll go get
Yeah.
changed and we'll walk back, or we'll set the climber up."
It's a welcome change sometimes because it's. I'm not saying it's easier. It's less work rifle
Yeah.
hunting. It's not easier to kill. It's somewhat easier if you're deer hunting, but
It's a lot easier.
it's less work. You're not toting as much stuff. Especially I've got that Summit 180, dude. And I muzzleloader hunted with it the other day, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, this thing's really comfortable. Damn, it's hot. You know,
Like, you know how many times bow hunting is so stressful because you really want to get them within 30 yards and sometimes closer. The
Yeah.
closer, I don't like them when they're right below me. I kind of like 25 to 40 yards. I'm comfortable.
23 is money.
Yeah, just it's comfortable. Too close, it gets iffy. And then when you start getting out over 40, it's like, it's kind of,
Yeah.
but rifle hunting, bro, this is the area the deer are going to be in. I can go 80 yards, top of the hill, climb 30 feet. They're not never going to smell me. They're not going to see me unless I'm up there doing jumping jacks.
Yeah, and kill them.
So don't say it's not easy. Rifle hunting is so much easier than bow
No,
hunting.
no. Now, no. What I was saying is it's easier than bow hunting, but it's not easy.
No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Hunting the way we do it. I
hunting
think
is not easy.
Brennan made a good point the other night because he had a close encounter, or the other morning. He had he's new to saddle hunting, and he's fairly new. I don't know how long he's been bow hunting, but he's not been hunting 20 years with a bow. And he's not using any cameras. If there's anybody not breaking the rules, it's him. I promise you. So he's
Brennan.
Brennan.
Yeah, no, he's not breaking the rules.
So
I'm scared he'll turn me in.
well, you ain't breaking the rules either, are you? Right? We're live. So of course, you're not doing that either.
What?
You just say, "I'm scared he's going to turn me in." For what? You don't break the rules.
No, I do not.
You're live.
I don't want to bring it. Oh
No.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm afraid Brennan might turn me in for looking with intent to commit a crime.
Can I see you slow with your headlights?
Yeah, he officer. He is not a licensed general contractor. Bob the Builder.
Yeah, Bob the Builder.
Anyway,
what did he ask them about?
He asked about the drought. I don't know nothing about
What do you mean things are a little later this year, Brennan?
Like the movement, like it's. I think he's thinking because it's
like
they're not scraping as he thinks that they were scraping earlier, I think maybe.
No, there's always community scrapes. The deer are just now, to me, they're starting to get ready to start putting scrapes. But if he's asking if things are later because of the drought,
Yeah, like
um,
food, maybe not.
no, I mean there's still, from what I've seen, there's still a bunch of food. But again, if you're referring to the rut, water, rain,
Yeah,
drought,
does not
temperature,
affect it.
none of that affects it.
Only thing affects it is when that
Time of
doe's cooter
time
starts
of
smelling like that sweet, sweet sauce,
the time
and
of
he's
the
ready
time of
for
day
it.
gets her ready, and then
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what it
yeah. When
dictates.
they're hard horned, they're ready to go.
They would rut
When
in
the
September if a doe was in
if a doe
estrus.
was in estrus. So, well, that goes back to the debate of using estrus P in the
I
early
know a lot of
season.
guys that do it. The reason I don't do it, I've got to where I don't use estrus a lot at all because other people are. And then they ban using good stuff. You know, you can't call your buddy and from Texas that owns a deer farm, tell them, hey, when she locks on heat
Hey,
tomorrow,
according to
put
one
it.
of our customers, if I don't know that that law exists. Therefore, I'm not liable if
She
I
will.
get
I
caught.
told you she's stupid too. Um,
If
but
I don't know the law, you can't
yeah,
hold me
no, I
accountable.
told you ignorance is bliss. It doesn't get you out of trouble. But the reason I do not do it is because the does know that it's not correct,
Right.
and they will light it
They'll
up.
blow at it. Yeah.
Blowing and
And who are you really going to get curious with it? A stupid young buck, or are you going to get a mature buck to be like, oh, it's
I don't know, dude. I've seen one of the bigger deer I saw on Bragg. However many years ago it was. It was hot, like real. What are you doing? It was like real hot.
I just got a Charlie
Um,
horse in the back of my leg. Am I
first,
dehydrated?
it was you might be
Mm.
1st of October. I'm sitting there and it's I don't know like 6 o'clock or so, but it's hot as hell. And I look up and here come a fawn just like running out the bottom, and I was like, "What the world's she doing by herself with a damn good one,
He's
like
trying to get us
right
some of
on
that
her tail."
young.
Yeah, so I
That's that
mean,
P Diddy deer, that R Kelly deer.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you could all of them can be. I mean, they start thinking with the wrong head, they all get dumb.
Yeah.
But
You know what I love about deer hunting conversations? They all start and end the same. They all start with like general question, then it gets all technical, and then they all end with, well, you just really can't tell what a deer's gonna do.
yeah,
It's like
I
all
mean,
guesswork.
they
I'm an
are.
expert. I make a living doing this. You read my books, you watch my shows, you buy my shit. And at the end of the day, I'm
They're gonna
just
do what they
guessing.
want to do.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, and to a certain
Like
extent,
a weatherman.
yeah, there's yes. The
Like,
guy,
it
the
might be
guy,
raining.
the guy in San Diego is the only one that's accurate. He's like, oh, it's probably gonna be sunny today. But I mean, deer are gonna do what they want to do. They're wild animals and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know,
But
man.
Brendan made a good point, and I want to. He didn't make it on here. We were talking, but he's like, look, if you're a newer hunter, if you're any hunter and you're on Fort Bragg, you're not using bait, you're not using cameras, you're finding and you're seeing deer regularly. Not every time, but if you're seeing deer 60% of the
You're
time,
doing good.
you're doing really fucking good.
Mhm.
If you ever go to private land and you can put out your bait piles and you can cut lanes and all that, you are going to probably, or you ever go to somebody else's private land, they let you hunt it, you're going to find deer and keep deer. You're going to see a lot more deer. Finding
I've
deer on Fort Bragg it's
I've
easy if you're
said,
just not looking for them, but if you're hunting for them,
yeah,
it's hard.
I've said for a long time that if you can learn to hunt Fort Bragg, um, you can probably go anywhere in the country and kill deer on public, private, or
Yeah.
everything in between because Bragg is its own different animal. A good friend of ours, Stump Bledsoe, used to call them high speed deer. He says, the only damn deer. He said, they're all spooky.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, none of them, they're sporadic.
Yeah.
They're, just
I've
always
never,
all over the
yeah,
place.
during the rut, I've seen some bucks that kind of look tired. Like they just walk in like, I'm fucking tired. And they just walk out, they're not looking. But most of the time when I see a deer, they take 2 or 3 steps and they're like,
Yeah.
and then they eat, and then they
It's,
fucking, what the hell is that?
it's
And if that one's not doing it, there's one, like especially doe,
absolutely.
and then there's always one doe that's just always trailing, like the mama doe or whatever. And it's just like they're so fucking spooky, especially if they're coming into a noise that you made.
Yeah.
Like when they come in to a grunt call and they come up behind you, and like that, what happened to me last year? I think back on it now, and I was looking. The wind was in my face. Why was I expecting the deer to come from this way? So I'm sitting there with my gun. I'm ready. I'm ready. I know he's coming. I know he's coming. And then like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, seems like an hour. I go, motherfucker. Boom, he's right there.
I remember you telling me about that. That was a
Big.
morning hunt.
I think it was a morning hunt.
Yeah.
And I think that is the one that Randy killed the first one because he was real wide. He was a
Mhm.
big deer. Didn't have tall tines, but he was real wide. But we're at an hour and a half. You said you didn't want to go too late, so you ready to wrap it up? You want to go home, or
What time is it?
it is
8:30.
8:38.
We'll give it a few more and then we'll wrap. I don't want to just dead. Like, all right, bye.
Yeah, they're like, all right, yeah, but well, here's the thing. I didn't have a guest. I totally forgot about the podcast because today is Tuesday, but we hunted yesterday. So
Felt like
my
Sunday.
equal so to me today is Monday.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
bad when you base your life
I
off
started
that day.
texting people. I think I texted Garrett Citrano. I texted Brian, and then no one responded.
So I wasn't your first option. Man, you
No,
fucking blood oath me
no.
and everything.
I said, Jonathan, you know what tonight is, don't you? I texted him. He says, no, what? I said, it's Tuesday. It's podcast night. You fucking promised you would be here on the 15th. He
No,
goes,
you
did
said
I?
I blood
I said,
oath.
you even did a blood oath because you were supposed to come on. He was like, okay. And then he really like believed it.
Yeah.
Like maybe I did and just forgot.
I did. I was sitting there debating. I was like, damn,
I
I
didn't
don't
want
want
to
to
do the podcast tonight. I did not want to do this tonight. Matter of fact, I didn't want to do it last week. My desk is normally facing that way.
Yeah.
I only turn it this way for the podcast, and it's been like this for a week. And it's probably gonna stay this way.
I don't know. I mean, it's all right.
I'm
Looks
just
like the one I sit at the office.
It
all the
is.
time.
This is one of the ones
Is
from
it
the
one from the
office.
office?
Yeah, we bought like 8 of them, I guess, at once. Or my parents bought like 8 of them.
But no, I would. I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna hunt this weekend.
What's your scent control?
My scent
What
control?
is Jonathan Holloway's scent control from the washing machine, from the laundry room to the tree? What are you doing? Because that was one of the things the guy asked. To answer his question, I'm sorry I can't read all the text. It sounds like the wind is getting him. If he's doing all his scent control,
Yeah.
get some milkweed, drop it. Pay attention to where your thermal's going, and wherever that thermal is taking that milkweed, you need to probably be a little bit, and maybe the movement's getting you. But anyway, what's your movement will get you.
Yeah, especially on Bragg. Movement.
We'll
will
talk
get
about
you.
that after we hear Jonathan's sick control.
Mine is wash machine with Grangers.
Okay.
So no UV brighteners or anything like that.
What about Tide One? Same thing? Or?
No, it has UV brighteners in it.
Tide One, it says no UV brighteners, no.
I haven't seen where it says no UV.
I got
brighteners.
some.
Okay, we'll have to check that out.
Okay.
I use Grangers.
Gotcha.
What I like is what First Light says to wash their wools and
Okay.
stuff like that in. When I take it out of the dryer, it goes in a trash bag.
So it never goes into the house to get folded, right into the trash bag.
It goes outside most of the time, right at the edge of the garage door or even in the driveway. Take out, fold what I'm pretty much going to use. It goes in my Ozonics bag, zipped up, and then everything else goes into my scent lock tote.
Gotcha.
Both go on the truck. Whatever I'm going to hunt with that morning, which it very often because I don't like mornings. Whatever I'm going to hunt with for that hunt on the way out there, Ozonics is running for the 30-minute cycle.
Okay.
If I forget to do it, like when I know it's getting time, I'll plug it into my truck and let it run. I use Scent Thief spray, and that's it.
Cover scents.
Don't like them.
No.
I like deer dander. Deer dander's good
cover
stuff.
scent.
Yeah. Deer
Shines.
really. I used to like Shines. The friggin' bees like Shines.
Yeah, they do.
and so I just quit. Shines is really good though.
Yeah.
So I don't like the what's that Evercalm sticks and
yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't use them either.
I
just think they're too expensive for what they do. I never found a good. I did see deer react to it one time, and seemingly she got calm. She was running. She was a doe that was on the move from a buck, and
I think it works.
And she got right below my tree, and she stopped for some reason, and then she just kind of relaxed and hung out.
Yeah.
So I shot her, and then I shot the buck that was coming after.
I like the Scent Thief. I don't know why. It's just I kind of first when I watched deer and watched his little videos, like man, the CIA made me put something in it that dogs could detect, and which is, I mean, it may be true, it may be not. I don't give a shit. The main reason I use it is because I like the way it smells because it smells like thieves. Your thieves cleaner. It's like an oil cleaner.
No, I don't even know what scent for. I just use scent, whatever the shit you buy at Walmart.
And I buy the whatever the cheap green bottle of Hunter Specialties soap.
I bought that.
But I don't quite go to the extent of like using a towel washed in non-scent to dry off and friggin' I think we talked that one day about the guy. He's like, I take chlorophyll and alfalfa pills and
Yeah.
I brush with juniper toothpaste,
Uh,
and I'm just like, man, I don't want to kill. I don't have time to devote at this point in
I
time in my
listen to
life.
your fucking regime, and there's 2 things that I'm missing, and I'm like, damn, I thought I was doing everything. I need to fucking add the fucking trash bag,
Mhm.
and I need the fucking ozonics. I don't have an ozonics.
Yeah, they're well worth it. I thought about almost getting a closet, but I don't keep my stuff in the house.
That, you know what? That pissed me off. That's what's been pissing me off. I thought about this today. All of my hunting clothes, I'm very proud. The ones that I like, I'm very proud of them. I got a lot of
So
money
you want
invested in
to
'em.
you want
I
people to
wanna
see
see
them?
them.
Yeah.
So I was gonna hang them up because I got them all in boxes. You walk in my garage, you can't see. I got all my, like, Sitka cold weather because it's so bulky. I
Mhm.
just got them in a fucking old army bag. I don't pull those out
See,
until it gets cold.
mine unless they're on me, they are in a scent tote.
Yeah,
And
but
my
I
wife's
will I will wash them, probably this week because it's getting cold enough. But you know that Fanatic jacket I got, it's gotta be like 28 degrees to pull that bitch out.
yeah.
It's thick. But I'll wash it in scent free, I dry it, I take it out, I fold it right there in the laundry room. Then I take it and I put it in a tote bag. And in the tote bag, I've got, which that's where I keep my deer dander, and that's also where I keep my shines. So it
Mhm.
always smells like that. Not my tote bag, my plastic tote.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking ozone. It's just a cheap
I
plastic
mean, hell,
one.
if you really want to get like real serious, I mean, if you got time, hang the shit outside to dry. If you had like a clothesline
Yeah, I
and
ain't got
stuff like
time for
that.
all
I
that.
know a lot of guys that
I'd like to do like maybe a burn pit so I could like get some
they
campfire on it.
they smoke their clothes.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of guys like, man, I gotta go change clothes before I get around the campfire. I'm like, wow.
yeah,
I mean, hell, that's a good thing.
yeah,
Now, don't if you're cooking over it, that's a different story.
yeah. But let me tell you that day Saturday, I wore I wore those gray Wrangler ATGs. Good tip, by the way. Those pants are fucking awesome.
Dude, I got a pair on right now. That's
I
all
think
I wear.
I bought 4 pairs.
You'll
And
have
like
10 more.
today, I was like, I'm gonna wear jeans because I'm a jeans and boots guy. In
Nice.
the
So,
winter, I'm like, let me put on my ATGs. Anyway, I had
yeah.
the stretchy, the gray ones on, and I was like, it's cold today, and it's gonna be chilly, so I will wear my. I'll probably bring that Kui hoodie that I
Mhm.
bought from you. Um, and it has gray in it. It'll match my pants with my friend. I got those. I got the Latitude D pads now, the gray ones with
Oh
the.
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, it's all matching anyway. Just kind of joking around, but I wore them to hunt in after wearing them all day in my truck
Hmm?
in the house, and I used the shines and I used the deer dander, all my cover scent, and then that fucking deer was right below me,
Yeah.
and he didn't.
Man, we do half the shit. Okay, no, 3/4 of the stuff we do is for us.
It's for us.
You know what I mean?
Camouflage too,
Like I know, yeah, absolutely. I
because
mean,
deer. For a lot of you people that are listening that don't know this,
faint blues and stuff like
deer
that.
do not have depth perception. They see in 2 dimensions only.
I
So everything they look at when you look at the woods, you see the depth. You see what's behind that tree.
but
You
see,
have a depth
yeah,
percept. Things get smaller, which is why you still believe the Earth is round because you think the sun's going down, but it's really going this way. Just throw that in there for y'all. But deer see a flat screen, and what they if they see you and you have on a real tree shirt and it's got leaves and bark, all they see is a black blob. So
yeah,
when
for the
you go
most
like
part.
this, they
That's
see that movement and they're like, "What the fuck was that?"
yeah,
And then
that's
they
what they
hone in
see.
on it, and then they're masters of movement. They can almost see your eyes blink
Mhm.
once they're keyed in on it. But I do believe that the digital camouflage does distort because they do see white and dark. Now they can see blues and UVs, but when they look at you in a tree, they can see that maybe I've got on a real tree hoodie and I have my hood on. They can see my white face, which is why we put camo streaks across our face to kind of break that up. Or do you
Mhm.
just think that they don't even see your white face?
I don't know. I just know they can see.
They can see.
That's I
Yeah,
don't I
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah,
know. I
yeah.
don't know the scientifics
I don't know.
of
I
that.
just believe the science behind the digital camo because the digital camo takes your blob figure and just cuts it up. That's why a flannel shirt will work as camouflage if
Yeah.
it's dark and light.
Get you a Umo flannel. That's the warmest thing you can
Yeah.
buy, man.
I finally found one. I found a blaze orange flannel. So it's like white and blaze orange, and I'm hunting. I'm gonna wear that with those green fucking ATGs, the canvas ones, because those are some good pants.
Mm-hmm.
The ones I was wearing today, they got like double stitched knees, and I
Yeah, they're
climbed
great.
trees with them.
The utility canvas or
Yeah,
whatever
like
it
I
is.
ain't never buying another pair of Sitka pants or First Light pants. They can kiss my
It's too
ass.
much money. Now I wear those trace pants
Yeah.
because I just them things. They're cool.
Yeah.
And they're.
I mean, I've got them
like
before I start the way I climb now, man. I'm climbing with the one stick. My legs, I'm on the tree. Like I'm rubbing up against it.
I
You know, I'm
noticed
fucking
that day I hunted. What was it? The day after opening day on Sunday, I wore that. I bought that Yuma. Has that ticking thing protection. I didn't even turn my thermocell on. It was pretty wild. And then those trace pants, and it's pretty crazy how much cooler you are. Almost like, man, I wish I could work in this stuff sometimes because it's just too damn expensive to work in.
Yeah.
But I have been known to go lay sod in some trace pants.
Every time I see you, you seem like you're wearing those damn
I'll
pants.
wear the hell out of them. I've got a few pairs.
This motherfucker don't care. You see the way he's dressed right now for this podcast? We went to a fucking business meeting. I put on a collared shirt. We got like for Latitude Roofing, we got collared polo shirts. I was wearing boots. I had my hat clean. I was shaved. This motherfucker shows up in a stretched out t-shirt, cargo shorts, and hey dudes. Like, fuck these motherfuckers.
I mean, we're roofers. We're not fucking.
Yeah, this ain't no fucking business meeting. We ain't Wall Street bankers.
Yeah, that was a $500,000 deal. And
yeah.
So they don't like t-shirts. I ain't gonna get along with them now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope everybody has a good season this year. I'm looking forward to it. My main goal this year is I've got to get my wife back hunting because I told her last night I was like, I'm gonna go hunting this weekend. And I was like, you believe I've only been twice? And I did like that. And she was like, and I was like, damn, really? So
you should try to talk her out of wanting to hunt.
No,
she never wants to go. Like, be like, I see these ladies hunting. It's cool and all. I'm just not very attracted. It's just something about a female hunting just not attracted. It's such a man thing, and that way she'll think, well, maybe he won't be attracted to me if I hunt, and I need to be pretty.
She'll probably say, well, I'm pretty. I'm going any day. And I actually, she's a damn killer too, man.
There ain't no way. I mean, I once in a while, but I could not be one of these dudes that's in a relationship where they both hunt religiously.
Well, I can be like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like.
But if I asked you this before, I said, what if you got a damn 190 on camera?
I'd let her kill it.
You're gonna let her kill it. Fuck that shit.
I would.
I will elbow drop. I will elbow. You ain't killing shit, bitch.
I'd let my boys shoot it before anybody.
Now that's different. I took my son out Sunday and put him on that deer that I had seen Saturday. And I looked at him. We were driving out there. I said, let me tell you something right now. I'm the only motherfucker in the world that would take you and put you in the position to let you kill that. No, I'm the only one. You wouldn't take my son to kill your deer. You're lying.
A kid, yeah, I would. Seriously.
Okay, but you would never be in that situation. What I'm saying is, I'm your dad. I'm the only, as a dad, I'm the only person that wants you to actually be better than I am. Everybody else can suck a dick. I ain't taking you. Ain't getting you. I don't care if you're Corky Thatcher and you're on fucking special needs. Make a wish. I'm gonna take you to kill. I'm gonna take you to kill my second best deer. But you ain't killing my best deer.
I would. I don't know. Like last year with Reed, he had been hunting. He actually had hunted pretty hard with me in the past and up until that point. And we're sitting there in that youth area, and I look up. I'm like, "Man, that's really nice deer, especially for your first deer." So we get up there, and I'm just like, "Man, there is no way he's gonna kill this friggin' deer." But I can't be like, "No." Especially I just watched a friggin' giant at 120, 125 yards on a ridge chasing a doe, and I'm like, really getting my ethics put to the test right here. Because
why, when you take a kid hunting in the youth hunting area, you're not.
They have to shoot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So we get him in there.
Good thing my kid's a feenie. He'll lie under oath. He'll be like, I shot the shit out that motherfucker.
Mine won't. He'll be like,
yeah.
Oh, me. He's too honest.
That's ingrained in our genetics. We don't talk to the popo.
So we're sitting there and we get up there and I'm like, all right, man, and I don't have that death grip at the time. So I get the gun and I'm holding the gun like this, like just standing off to the side. And I lean in, and basically what I'm doing is I'm just making sure I'm like, all right, buddy, whenever you get ready, and I'm just watching his head. I don't want him to get scoped or anything. And he pulls the trigger, deer mule kick, runs over there and piles up. And I was like,
mule kick, that's usually a double lung shot, ain't it?
I was like, bro, he literally 10-ringed him. And I was like, damn, I don't know if me or the deer's more surprised that he, shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, yeah, man. And then we're going through this, and I'm like, yeah, he did great, blah, blah, blah. We're up there talking. Donald Hutchison was there, which he was, always been a good friend of the family and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Hell, David Bishop let me borrow a knife. I didn't have a knife on me. That's how used I
Well,
am.
now you will have a
That's
knife.
how used I am to kill a deer. Um, so
I know I didn't plan for this part. I
yeah,
normally don't make
exactly.
it
I
this
normally
far.
don't make it this far, no. Or I'm really lazy and I drop it off.
Yeah.
So we go get the deer, we load it up and come back and everything. And Jason comes in town the following weekend. And it was my birthday weekend, matter of fact. And we were sitting there talking. And he goes in there and gets Reed. And he goes, "All right, man, come out here and show me your deer." And at the time, I still had my chest freezer in the garage. And he opens the thing. We look. He's like, "Dang, man, that's good." And he's like, "You know, when you're shooting and everything, he's like, did you look through the scope?" And Reed was like, "Nah, I just did this and pulled the trigger." I'm like, "What?" So that was meant to be. But I took him back the following weekend. I think it may have been after Jason was there, and we're sitting there. This little old 3-pointer walks out. He's sitting there just eating in the food plot, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, there's a deer." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he's practicing, getting on. And at this point in time, we got that death grip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Get on him, let me see, where you're aiming, different things like that." And he's like, "All right." And I'd lean over. I'm like, right where it's supposed to be. And then at the end of the night, he's like, "So I'm gonna shoot him." And I'm like, "No, buddy, it's a little 3-pointer." He's like, "Okay."
Shit, I would have said let her rip, son. Now you're not burning one of your tags for
no,
him.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like, "Okay." Then he looks at me, "Dad." I was like, "What?" He's like, "I really want to kill that deer." I was like, "All right." So then I'm like, "But it's a kid. Who cares?"
Mm-hmm.
So he gets on that deer. Like, I think it hears us, and he just turns like directly away from us and goes to feeding. And Reed, when he puts his head up after 10 minutes, he walks straight back in the swamp. And then
Yeah.
we went back one more time. That's the day I was telling you we seen the 7 rack bucks. It was the last day that the last Saturday youth seasons were open or whatever. We seen those 7. So
you take him to the youth area
when it's open,
yes,
because
yeah.
it's them dudes, man.
How come they ain't opened them yet?
Well, they did for the youth season, but normally, from what I've gathered, they normally do it every Saturday in November. And then if the amount of deer that they want killed has not been, then they'll open them a couple of times in December.
Okay.
Because, man, I'm here to tell you, dude, it's literally like you walk through a gate into something that Fort Bragg's not. It's unbelievable how good it is to
Really?
hunt.
Because I
Yeah,
wanted to take John there, but he wanted
it
to
is,
climb a climber because he
dude.
climbed a
Well, you
climber.
can there too. They have, like I told you, they have to be open. It's N1, Q1, S1. All the food plots are always planted. The blinds are pretty nice. That's one thing I'd like to use some of that Fort Bragg money for, is going there and like really do up the blinds for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then all 10 of us or so get together and go brush them in right before season, because they're just metal sitting there. The deer don't care, but it helps.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah.
The guy who, like Madondo, that's got 2 kids with him, that stuff helps.
Yeah.
A whole lot. So I'm getting pictures from Illinois. So
when are you heading up there?
I was
right after not Thanksgiving, but
I was
Halloween.
going to go the first week in November, but I found out today that I did get my firearm tag. So I'm just going to go hunt the firearm season.
When's that?
21st, 22nd, 23rd of November.
Oh, so we'll be slowed down by then. That's about right towards the end of our peak
It's
rut.
the week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
See, I think, to me, like my big deer, the few I've killed on base, they've been the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I think that's when those more mature deer come out. But I don't know. Those youth areas.
That's when you see the most big deer bucks killed at the skin shed, is the week of Thanksgiving.
I think that has to do with the fact that, my personal opinion, they're the bigger mature deer on their feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a little bit cooler most of the time, but I think it's the fact that there's more people in the
There's more people. That's what I think too.
Like,
yeah.
To me, like the best day for me to hunt, I want to hunt the 7th through the 11th. And then I want to fast forward and I want to hunt Thanksgiving till December 10th.
Yeah.
That's the time that I want.
I've never hunted December. I've always been pretty much done.
That's why you need to quit freaking around in September.
Yeah.
Like I told you the other day, I was like,
Get
you're being
burned
stupid,
out.
man.
Yeah. But it's fun, man.
You're going to become your own worst
enemy. My whole life revolves around
all you're doing
deer
is
hunting,
degrading yourself. Like, I texted you last night. I said, "Well," you said, "I suck selling all my shit."
No, I said I'm calling Brennan and giving all my shit to him. I'll quit.
So
This is the first name that came to mind.
It's one of them deals where, like,
everything was perfect last night.
Not really. Pressure sucked.
Oh, you know what? I didn't check the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But now, it was beautiful.
Now look at Thursday afternoon. From what, like I told you, I use my fishing app for pressure. So if you look at those little deer prediction apps, I would say that Thursday afternoon, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and Sunday morning will be the best times to hunt because all the
Last week
pressure
or this weekend
this
coming up?
coming week.
Yeah.
The reason being is because starting Friday, maybe even Thursday, I'd have to go back and
Well,
look at it.
Thursday's the 18th,
Yeah.
and that's the day, according to historical records and all of the days being shorter. Thursday the 18th is the day that should be like the gunshot of the rut. A doe, a doe should come into
Oh,
estrus.
I'm sure somewhere. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going to be the start of the rut. Is
Yeah.
October 18th.
Well, I think it'd be start of pre-rut.
Well, pre-rut is the rut.
Mm,
What's pre-rut
well,
mean? You got some
pre-rut's all the
cooters. Cooters
pre-rut's
got that sweet smelling sauce coming out of them.
pre-rut's all the antics that lead up to a rut. But I would say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning if you look at a barometric pressures because it goes from the high 29, maybe low 30 to like 30.3, 30.8,
Yeah.
31, stuff like that.
But now,
So
how do you take into account that those are the fucking like full moon days too?
it doesn't
So
matter. You're still getting the tree. You're gonna hunt, man.
yeah,
I don't
I'm
care.
still gonna go, but I'm
A
looking
deer's
more like midday, midday hunt.
there. I don't believe the moon has a damn thing to do with it.
You had, but you're fit. It controls
Okay,
the fishing.
here here's my thing. If the moon dictates so much how a deer moves, then why do we always say, well, deer's got to eat every 6 hours?
Well, no. What I'm saying is how far he's gonna move dictates what he can see. So, isn't he more apt to move further at night?
See, I've heard people tell me that
At night on a full moon, he might travel out and he might go get some acorns, and then he might travel all the way back or go bed down, and he might move further, which means he's going to bed down around sunlight, right? And then he's going to have to get up. But I'm saying, you don't think he's more apt to move? Like, okay, so when it's dark and there's no moon, he's going to be a little bit more fucking skittish. He may stay a little close to home,
See,
so he's not.
I've heard both. I've heard that. Okay, I've heard that on a full moon it's bright and the deer are going to move because they can move easier, and I've heard that on a full moon the deer don't move as much during because they're easier seen. And then I've heard on a new moon they don't move because it's too damn dark, and then I've heard that they move
I
because
like,
I just think
and the reason why I think that is because when you look at camera data, daylight pictures of deer and fucking what's his face, Jake Owen, or is it Jake Owen or Jake Hunter? I'm sorry, Jake, man. Fucking, he just texted me today too.
I think that
He got it on. He's got an app on his camera that will fucking give the stats.
I
So
don't give a shit about
90% or 80% of the daylight pictures, the midday pictures, happened on full moon nights because they bed down. They're not moving in the morning. They're coming out, and the red
that.
moon.
How long did that camera run for a year? Or did it run during November?
I don't know. I don't know.
My my personal opinion, a building moon is the best moon from whatever the little.
We're on the building moon now because it's working its way up to full.
Mhm.
So I think on the backside is better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
If
know.
I'm gonna see a deer in the morning, when I see a deer, when I say the morning, I mean like after 9 o'clock, so like 9:30.
Yeah,
Then it's probably gonna be. I think it's a waning
waning crescent.
crescent or
Yeah,
something. Like it's not full. It's just less than half. It's
yeah,
not a crescent moon, but it's like it's bright. It's like a quarter of a moon almost.
yeah.
That's when I'm gonna expect to see a deer
See,
in
I
the
was
morning
never
at
taught any of
9:30.
that stuff. I was what little bit I did get to hunt with my dad, until he passed away. I was just hunt. I was raised, you're hunting sign,
Yeah.
different. Like a lot of people, they hunt like row blinds, but I don't never hunt a row blind.
No. Well, I don't understand why you. I like to
I mean, it
be.
shows
I
you
like to
around
find
there.
them because it shows you. You're pretty much on the. You're on the outskirts.
Well,
He's in the area. He's
you're
traveling through
somewhere
there.
he's been.
He's been
You
there
can be around them.
somewhere.
And like scrapes, man, people like
I like hunting scrapes.
they're gung ho about a scrape. I
Yeah.
really don't hunt a scrape after the 2nd of November.
Yeah, I'm hunting scrapes,
I'm
baby.
hunting.
Especially
I'm
one that's been freshly
I'm
hit. You
hunting
know why?
transitions.
Because that tells me that he's there. If it's freshly hit, he's somewhere around. That means if I get where I can see the scrape,
Man, that's some bitches. He's traveled a mile in 20 minutes.
maybe,
Now, if it rains,
maybe.
I'm going scrape hunt.
Yeah, I'll dump
Yeah.
water on that scrape and then I'll go get to where I can see it. Rifle hunting, I'm gonna get further, and that way he's more apt to hear that fucking rattle flash or a grunt.
He knows if
Maybe
it's
he hit
rained.
that scrape and went and laid down.
He knows it's rained
He
in
don't
a
know it's
scrape.
rained.
If it has rained, they're going to go scraping.
Why?
Because it's their sense of communication. It's how they're
Yeah, but
they're
why is he so apt to run to that scrape
because
after it rains?
he knows that the it's been washed, it's
No,
been cleansed.
it's,
Yes,
that's been debunked now. That's been the new science is
okay. So
the
I'll tell you
reason
what.
why after it rains, why he goes to the scrape is because water reactivates all the scent in there, and now he can smell it, so he's coming to check
Okay,
it.
same
He's
thing.
not
So
thinking, well, it rained, washed all my scent away. That's how a human thinks. Let me
well,
go freshen it up.
say
We're talking about
it's
fucking dumbass deer.
it's still friggin' 50%.
Hey,
Either way, what I'm
I
trying to
don't know
get to,
if what he's saying is wrong. I'm just saying based on new
what
science.
my point is,
Mhm.
if it rains, a deer knows it rains, and he is apt to go check that scrape. If you walk out there and dump a Coke bottle full of water on it, the sumbitch does not know that Buddy walked out there and dumped water on it. He
No,
is more apt to come check it after a rain
no.
event than he is after you
He's more
dumping
apt to
water
come
on it.
check it because that scrape is wet and that scent's been reactivated and the scent is
How does
more
he know if
heavy.
he's 2 miles away? He knows it's rained if he's 2 miles
He
away.
can't associate rain to somebody might have just manipulated my scrape to try to. He's not that
What
smart.
I'm saying is he's not going to come.
I don't even
check
think a
it.
deer knows what the rain is. They don't even get a billy goat's got sense enough to get out of the fucking rain. A deer will just lay down in it. I don't think they even know what rain is. They're
Well,
just like,
a billy goat normally has a shed to go sit in, or the farmer built. A deer don't. But what I'm saying is, if he is 2 miles away from that scrape and he's making his rotations, and it rains that night,
uh-huh.
he's more apt to go do that because he knows that it is rain. He may not know it's rain.
See,
Whatever
again,
deer logic is, he may just say, "Oh fuck,
I
it's
can't
wet."
agree to disagree on this. He doesn't know it rained. He's stupid. He just knows he can smell all the scent now because it's been activated with
Okay,
water.
okay. So you're
Take the
telling me
rain out of it.
no? That's the whole point of it, though. If what you're trying to tell me that you walk out there and you dump water on it,
Yeah,
that he is just as likely to come
yeah.
check it in a certain period of time as that if it rained.
I don't know about the period of time, but
I'm saying
when
period
he
of time.
smells all those smells, he's going to come check it. So he can smell it more after it's rained because it's activated, or
Yeah.
after you dumped water on it. I don't think he goes. It's raining. It rained. Let me go freshen
Yes,
up
he
my
does.
scrapes.
Yes, he does.
I got to go
Yeah.
piss on them.
Okay. My thing is,
I don't think he's that smart.
if it rains, okay, let's take this. We're gonna say a 1 day period. It
Mhm.
rains starting at 4 a.m. on Saturday morning, and it rains until 12 o'clock.
Mhm.
All right, and you go get on that scrape and you hunt it until dark. All
Yeah.
right. You're telling me you're just as apt to see a deer on that scrape that if you'd have walked out there at 12 o'clock and dumped a bottle of water on it.
I think that you're just as apt to see that deer on that scrape, whether you dumped water on it in the middle of a fucking drought or right after it rained. It's going to be 6 in one, half dozen in the
Nah,
other.
we'll have to figure out.
We'll have to figure out a way to test. I don't know how to test it. I mean, I'm just saying it makes more sense because you're taking you're giving the deer's brain too much power when he can
No,
sense like he
I
can
don't
put
think. I
a
don't
deer
think
can't put two and two together. He
I
can.
don't think
I
they're
smell
capable.
something, danger, run. I smell something, food. I'm hungry. I smell something. I'm horny.
I
I
don't
smell
think.
pussy.
I don't
I want to
think.
go fuck.
I don't think they're capable of logical thinking. You know what I mean? Just like I don't think a fish is. But I do think that they're capable of processing the environment as far as that goes.
You think so?
Mhm.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, then.
But then again, what the fuck do I know?
Well, my thing is too is if they're not capable of sensing a environment change,
Yeah,
why do you go hunt before a storm?
pressure, air pressure.
So what does the air pressure do?
I don't know.
Signal something as an environmental change to the deer.
I don't know.
Same reason if the cold
Environmental change or a cold front. Yes, I'm cold. They can sense hot, cold. They can probably taste salt, sweet. They probably have the
when it's
basic.
raining, the pressure drops. That's
But you
why
have to have some type of reason built into your brain canal to know I'm walking through the woods and it starts raining and think, let me stop and turn around and go freshen up my
I don't
scrapes.
say they turn around, but I'm saying
Let me go out there and
we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. But I'll argue with you at the office later. So, but it is 9 after.
All right.
So
Let's go. We're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck this week. This will be the week of you guys that have been out there getting after it, trying and being disappointed. I think you're going to start seeing activity pick up this week. I'm going to say that pre-rut is rut. Fuck all this pre-rut, post-rut, lull rut. It's all rut. It's all based around fucking, and they're going to start looking for pussy.
Basically, if you're planning on hunting, I'd start Friday and hunt until about 10th of December.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, then. Well, thanks for coming, even on a lie. Even after you knew it was a lie.
I feel pretty violated.
I should have all of the stuff in the skin shed. Hopefully, 90% of it will be available Thursday. I'm gonna try to get in there Thursday and get everything set up. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. What you want to read?
I was just reading what Brennan sent.
Swag, scientific wild ass guess. Yeah, that's pretty much deer hunting.
Yeah, for real. Oh man.
And hold on, don't say nothing racist yet.
I don't say racist stuff anyhow.